Welcome, fellow explorers, to Laurence's Factorio space exploration and Krastorio² adventure. On the once verdant planet of Norvis, we greedily harvested its precious resources, delving deep into its core in our quest to satisfy our industrial systems. Yet our never-ending thirst for knowledge propelled us beyond our home into the vast expanses of space. Traversing the solar system, we unearthed exotic materials with strange electrical and mechanical properties, using powerful railguns to fling them back home. But our hunger for discovery knew no bounds. To satiate our factory, we crafted interplanetary spaceships, venturing further into the unknown. Join us in our next stream as we expand our empire interstellar, facing new challenges and unveiling the mysteries of the universe. Together we will soar to greater heights, exploring uncharted territories and embracing the wonders of the cosmos. The factory must grow. Hello everyone, welcome to Laurence Plays Factorio Space Exploration and Krastorio² for what might be the last proper stream of the series, because we believe, well, we have some ideas, and so I should probably warn anyone who's watching this that this is going to be quite a spoiler heavy stream, in that we are going to be talking a lot about the endgame Fenestra puzzle, because that's the point we're at, and that's what this stream is going to mostly be about, I expect. But hello everyone, hello regular Doopy, Tristan and Marc, Mike, Sphere, hello there. Yes, that seems to be everyone. Welcome one and all. And what are we saying here? You're hoping you fail, ever will carry on. Yeah, well, the content will carry on this channel. Don't worry. I'm not going to retire after finishing this stream series. But yes,
what will content look like after this series? That's the question, Laurence.
Well, that's the question I don't have an answer for yet, because I haven't entirely decided. But there'll probably be more Factorio content, because that seems to be what the channel thrives on. But I'm sure there'll be some other stuff as well. So yes,
you would be mad to stop Factorio completely.
Basically,
anyway.
yes. So out here in Fenestra we have the Stargate, and it appears to be being programmed at the moment, which I'm going to assume is by Tristan, because it usually is. Yep. And so during the week, while I was busy doing things like making videos and whatnot, Tristan and Mike have been coming up with potential answers to the Stargate puzzle. And between them, they have come up with 4 answers, all of which are different. So we can be fairly sure that at least 3 out of these 4 are incorrect. Now, and Tristan has said that he has quite low confidence in one of his, but he has reasonably high confidence in the other one. Mike has just come up with 2 answers because he can't count or something. I don't know. Counting to 1 was challenging.
It boils down to if you look at the triangle, some point up, some point down, but the down pointing ones, I don't know if they're rotated or mirrored.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough then. That's okay. That's a reasonably good reason for having an uncertainty and an indecision.
Yeah, so I worked them both out.
Okay. So, we also have 1 or 2 other little things to do here and there as well. So, as you can see at the bottom there, yes, in Fenestra we would quite like to try winning the game if we possibly can. But also there are some little fixes here and there to be done. And even after we win the game, technically by solving the Stargate problem, there's still a few researches in here to be done. Like we would like to get the spaceship victory research done as well, just for funsies really, and maybe I was going to say and pick off any more of these that need to be done, but actually I don't think there are any more in here that are neither infinite nor semi-infinite. The nearest, well, there's this one actually, which is a prereq for the spaceship victory, but that's it. So once we've done those 2, we can resoundingly say we have finished the game. I would sort of like to find some researchers that use basically all of the science packs and give the factory a little bit of a stress test. But on the other hand, I also sort of don't want to give the factory that stress test, because I'm pretty sure it would fail it.
It would be stressful.
Exactly. Mining productivity is not so interesting, because that of the advanced sciences, that only takes the biological one. A better one might be, well, that one's only energy. That one's only energy.
Something like spaceship
material
size.
Spaceship, factory spaceship. Yeah, that's everything except bio. So yeah, that would be a potential one. We could try doing a few more of those and see how we get on with it. And at the moment, we are trying to do one of those, and we're not really getting on with it. So yeah. And as I was touching on in the video that came out yesterday, we have currently a shortage. Yes, we have a shortage of energy science here because we have a shortage of quantum processors. Because over here we have a shortage of immersite being fed through to wherever it is that we're making the quantum processors down a little bit further. Down a little bit further here. There's no immersite crystals making their way over to here. So that's one of the things on the list that's there for me that I'm considering having a look at. Hello, Chloe. Welcome. Yeah, mining productivity was an effort because also the biological stuff is struggling a little bit because as I said in the video, over on Big Grid there was an awful lot of sulfur that needs to be sort of tidied up a little bit. Now Marc has managed to get in ahead of the system actually jamming up, so we've got he's managed to put in the extra warehouse here before this one is completely full and the trains are taking absolute nonsense up into orbit. So that's a good thing. It means things will then hopefully work a little better. Yeah, as you can see, we're now managing to load the train here, and it is successfully unloading all of the nonsense all the output that it's been bringing up with it. So this system is currently working quite well, and yeah, things should work quite well. Hopefully, he says, repeating himself. Hello, Cobalt. Welcome. Right, so let's see. What was? Oh yes, over on Talos we had a water problem, so let's go and deal with that. I'm sure Tristan will tell us before he puts a final glyph into this Stargate, so we can all go and watch it. Yeah. Good. So last week I realised that there was far too much water being pumped out of the crushing over here, where we're crushing the naquitite down into crushed naquitite. So I put in these flare stacks to get rid of that water. Then it turns out that we're actually pumping too much water down through into this stage down here, and these pipes are filled up, and so there's one of the stages over here somewhere that then also can't get rid of the excess water it's got. So it's a very, very short-term fix for that. There is a pipe with a pump. There we go. If I turn that pump round, that'll pull some of this out. Then we can have a think about how, and that'll start the Naquium processing running again. And now that I've done that, I can have a little bit of a think about how I want to actually fix it properly. That's weird, Sophia. Yeah, they should. Messages should all make it onto the. Are you being a spam? Oh, and thanks for the resub, Mark. Much appreciated. Thank you. Yes, I don't know. Just have to see if it happens again. So over here we have a pump that will only pump when there is less than 100,000 here, and there's 180,000 in here, so that's good. Over jerky. Right. So what I want to do is I want to feed that number from this tank over here, all the way over to the system way over on to that pump miles away. Now the question is, how are we going to do that? Where is the pump? There's the pump. So I guess, well, I want to go from here. I need to get onto one of the pylon things like that one, and then I can run the cables from there with a reasonable amount of sensibleness. Let's use a green cable. That's interesting because I did see the one where Sophia said with the amount they struggled for level 13 eek in the in the restream chat that I've got as my local thing for telling me what's going on. So that at least appears to have worked. But I don't. So and it should be the same thing that feeds it both ways. Let's not do that and not do that. Yeah, it should be the same interface that's appearing in both the stream and on my screen. So a short answer, I don't know. Long answer is exactly the same, but said in a sort of more drawn out way. I'm deliberately using a green cable here because I'm aware that I tend to use, out of habit, red cables for almost everything. And so if I use a green cable instead, then I'm less likely to have a clash. Although there is a green cable here. However, that doesn't matter because we're not worrying about water for that. So I'm going to run along the belt over here, which is a bit silly, but it works. You know, if it's a dumb idea and it works, it might still be a bit dumb, but you just got lucky with it. So that goes up to here, boink, like that, and then all the way along here I need to say that's to be enable, and then paste and paste and paste. So all of these run. Yes, there we go. Maybe Restream just had through a minor wobbly. I'm not sure. So
Mike,
I want you to confirm if there is.
That is the last glyph. You're a bit zoomed in on your one.
Yeah, give me a second.
Greater.
Fenestra. Last glyph, you say?
Yes.
50,000. So these pumps will maintain a water level of between 100 and 150,000 in this tank. And as they
In that case, we're ready.
Ooh,
Okay,
let's go back over and have a look at Fenestra.
Quickly double check. Is this the rotate or the mirror?
Rotate.
Rotate. Thank you. If I just double check if that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going for Mike's first answer first, and we'll see where that one gets us. If that doesn't work, then maybe we'll try Tristan, since he's got one that he's confident of, and then try Mike's second one.
Yep, that looks right to me. Thank you.
Sophia says we shouldn't do it without being there. He wants us to all hop on a ship and fly out to Fenestra to actually poke the buttons with our own actual hands.
I am there, but yes, other people aren't.
Oh yeah,
I kind of agree.
I got to fly out there and just sort of sit here the entire time.
Yeah, it takes however long it's been, 10 minutes to enter the data. Shall I activate it?
Sophia is just trying to extend the stream a bit, so he's got more to watch. No, go on, hit the button. We'll see what happens, and we can maybe if this doesn't work, we can head out there. All right, so we are creating a Stargate.
It's a bit where it comes up with succeed your victory for Tristan and fail for the rest of us.
Yeah, or Tristan has to go up the little ladder here and stand on the platform and then jump in like a diving board.
See an iris go across behind it.
Ooh, something's coming through. Nope, we're still getting biters.
Yep, that's not it. How close was it though? That's the question.
Was that roughly where you expected it to be? I suppose is the question. Oh yeah, how close is that to the actual the target point we're looking for?
Not close enough, obviously.
So the target is minus 0.68 rather than 0.67.
Yeah, so it's 0.034 off.
Yeah.
0.01 off on all three. It looks
which is close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
So
which sort of suggests that is that close enough that your second one is more likely than mine? I'm not sure. I'll do mine next and.
Yeah, you do yours. I suspect that the other one is going to be further away, quite a lot further away. One of them, I will have misread the glyph because it's look upon a table, which is just a pain.
Yeah, glyph identification is
hysterical stream. You mean? I think. Yeah, so it's difficult to show you. It's difficult to show you in game what we tested because a lot of it is it's probably just a big pile of numbers on Mike's screen that is difficult to show you. But I can show you. Well, I can show you the glyphs we tried that time. If we go down to coordinate logs here, yeah. So we tried. Let's zoom in a bit. Let's press the right buttons for zooming in. There we go. So we tried squiggle headless man. So we tried that sequence of glyphs, which is the ones that Mike thought it was, and that's the and that didn't take us to quite where we wanted to be aiming. But so for each of these, according to our current theory, which may or may not be correct, we actually aren't sure about this at the moment, but it's a theory that we are attempting to test. The first glyph goes to a point on the sphere, or at least a triangle made of the pentakis dodecahedron that is the almost sphere. So that triangle is then split up into lots and lots of sub-triangles, and each subsequent glyph will choose a triangle, and the second glyph will choose a triangle from that triangle of one of the sub-triangles from that triangle of triangles. The next one, you split up that sub-triangle into further sub-triangles, and this glyph selects one of those, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. And eventually you get to a point, and that is where you are... Well, you don't get to a point, sorry. You get to a very, very small triangle, and the centre of that is the point that we're hoping to aim for. So, as I say, this isn't quite right. It's about 0.01 out in all three dimensions. So we'll try the next one and see if that does any better, and then try the next one and see if that does any better. But we've run out of power. We've run out of fuel to make power. Apparently.
We haven't run out, but we are. There isn't any flowing roundabout. Oh, there's still some flowing roundabout. It was disappeared way down, but there's a lot of empty canisters sitting in the chest.
I think it's probably a good idea to have the tanks up here all be suitably full. No, yeah. There's a few cans on the belt, as you say, and there's about 5 in each one. But we do rip through quite a lot of matter whenever we do one of these tests. So yes, wait for the ship to
especially
come
when
back.
you're programming essentially a random glyph in each one. Because you can't just go. You can't. Yeah, I can't just move one round programming it each time.
Yeah, so we presumably they did all come up with the solutions in different ways. So Mike has 2 solutions that he produced in the same way. However, he wasn't sure about whether. So for each of the subtriangles, sometimes they're up pointing triangles and sometimes they're down pointing triangles, because that's how you get a triangle that's made up of small triangles. Mike was not sure whether when you go from an up triangle to a down triangle, whether you flip it like that or whether you rotate it like that. And so he's worked out solutions for both. Tristan has also worked things out. I'm not sure how their methods differ. We'll probably have to have extremely long and painful discussions to try and work out what on earth was going through their minds when they were coming up with these answers. But at the moment, if anything, yes. But at the moment, I'm not really sure exactly how they've calculated it differently.
Let's say joke's on you. I don't have a mind.
Is that because we've run out of matter and it's a case of mind over matter? I don't know.
I'm
not. I know roughly where I was trying to go with that, but I'm not sure. But only down to sort of 2 levels of triangles. So the Stargate opened and biters came through instead of a punchline. That's interesting you say that, Sophia. I thought the rotated version seemed more logical. I was expecting triangles to be rotated rather than flipped. So. Yeah, this is why we don't know, and we're having to experiment a little bit, and it's lucky that it's not. Oh dear, you've blown up the Stargate again. If you get it wrong, which would be rather
my gut feel is also rotated. The logic being that you're dealing with a coordinate system where, in theory, each symbol has a mathematical. Up is arbitrary, but every symbol has a relativistic meaning compared to the center, which means that. Effectively flipping the left and lower left, lower right round so that lower left is now lower right, and vice versa, wouldn't make mathematical sense. Everything would be in the wrong place. And so, in theory, just sort of from how the game is supposed to be, in terms of storyline and so on, rotation makes more sense in my mind. That said, just because the storyline makes sense that way doesn't mean that it's been implemented that way.
Yeah, you're relying on Arundel's set of logic.
Which, in fairness, mostly been as expected. The only things that haven't been as expected when I've worked it out is, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
not first thought, but it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, just because he wasn't the first thing you thought of doesn't mean that when you see the answer you don't go, oh yeah, all right, okay, I understand where he's coming from there.
Yeah.
So, in case anyone's wondering what I'm doing over here on Talos, we reckon that it's best to prioritise the stream of crushed naquitite that's coming in from the Melancholia system through the teleport chest over here. And that's because, in theory, it's technically cheaper to produce it because we don't need to transport stuff around in spaceships. We're just chucking it in a teleport chest, which is completely free to use now that it's been built. So we reckon we'll use this one first. So over here, I've set these belts to only run when there is less than 5,000 in this warehouse, which means if this warehouse starts to run a little bit low, then we'll start to pull more in from the train, and it will because we've only got 1 purple belt coming in, but we've got 2 purple belts flowing out there, and those should be being used up more or less in their entirety in order to make the naquium that you can see flowing up here and going gradually into the spaceship. Crush Naquitite is your name of your new band. Yes, sure, why not? Wrong solution, stand by for galaxy implosion. Yeah, let's hope not.
I
still need this galaxy. I haven't finished with it yet. Right, so I think all of this is now kind of working. Let's have another look at the to-do list, because I think there's another Talos thing on here. Oh yes, it would bring out more purple belts. That's going to be requires me to actually come out here because, well, it's these purple belts, and we'd like to use them to bring out more crushed naquitite from the extra crushomatrons over here, because if you look down here you'll see that these belts are not flowing solidly. We're only using probably about half, although so that said, feels like less than half looking at them, but don't know how accurate my feels are on that sort of thing. we should have a solid purple. Yes, we have a solid purple belt flowing in over here, going into the warehouse. Which should mean we need 4 purple belts flowing in, minus whatever boost we get from the productivity over here, which is 48%. So I guess that means about 2.5. Well, just over 2.5, in order to get in order for it to count as 4. So, okay, I could believe that's 2.5 belts worth flowing in there. That doesn't seem unreasonable. Also, note that we've now got this down to, about 5,000. So each time it does, we chuck in a little bit more from the train as well, just to keep this held at 5,000. So when the train goes away to go and get some more, this belt will carry on running, trying to keep this filled up, but will still empty at 90 per second. And then when the train comes back down again, it can refill this back up to the 5,000 again. I do feel that maybe a bit more than 5,000 would be a good idea. 5,000 is only half full. Let's put that back up to the 8,000 it was on originally before I came over and started messing with it. Because I think that is actually a better number. So 80% full just means there's a bit more of a buffer for while the train goes off to go and get some more and then comes back down again. I think that probably makes sense. Shouldn't be backing up on iridite powder. So we have... Oh yeah, it does look like we are though. Yeah, apparently these machines over here, these centrifuges over here are not fast enough. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's have a look at what we've got in the module inserter today for centrifuges. Centrifuges. We have productivity modules. Let's not do that. Let's just put some tier 3 speed modules in there. Yes, I could put in another centrifuge here. I could use productivity modules, but I'm not sure I care enough. But actually, let's put one of those in and see if we've got the stuff in order to do so. If so, then we can get a little bit more flowing through, and we'll see. So what are we missing? On Talos, we're missing speed modules entirely, and also all the various belts, and the long-handled inserter as well. Great. On the logistics network, what do we have any speed modules? Do we have a search? We do. Speed. We do. We have some speed. Oh, we have speed. We have speed 1s and speed 2s. Great. Okay, well, I guess we'll put speed 2s in then. It's not quite what I was hoping for, but it's better than nothing. And I guess that's going to have to be a red... Well, it can be a pair of red inserters. Hopefully that'll be fast enough. If we're lucky, the only reason I used the superior inserter here is because I had them and was just feeling spendy. Oh, we don't even have the centrifuge. Never mind then. I missed out. I missed that one. That wasn't going to happen. Oh well. Hopefully the speed modules will be enough over there. The teleport chest, yes, the teleport chest works. You put one, you have a pair of chests, and they share an inventory. So this one, you can see it's got a certain amount of naquitite being put into it, and then it's all being taken out by these belts, and more is being put in at the other end. If I go over to Melancholia here, and we can find out that there is another teleport chest over here, and that is being filled up with the naquitite. And as you can see, it's a shared inventory. They've got basically the same stuff going in there.
Tristan, you need some steel pumps, I see.
Yep.
Okay.
I was going to speed up the unloading of.
Yep, on my way.
Mike is a silly sausage, cool. As we know. Yeah, so that's basically how they
work.
work.
Why am I a silly sausage?
Many reasons. So we could make more of them. The problem is they cost about 20 arcospheres each, and arcospheres are expensive to get hold of, and also you need to make 2 of them for each one. If I have a look in the construction, here we go. Sorry, you need 10 arcospheres for each one of these you build. So to make a link costs 20 arcospheres. In the entire game, we've found about 250 arcospheres roughly, I think, and so we don't. So we don't want to use. So we have already used 10% of them on this, and for this one particular thing, we decided it was probably worth it because we're taking it all the way from Melancholia to a planet in the Kaleida system over here, and that's an awfully long way, even if you fly via Fenestra. So we didn't really want to have that, and we've already done the spaceship-based systems over here. The other reason is that you only get the Arcalink storages basically right at the end. They're one of the last things. They require all of the science packs you get, and so so we'd already got a system set up for everything else, and so there's no real point in changing Stardust over to use Arcalink storage chests, because why would you? It works already. One thing we have considered that they could be quite useful for is to put on a construction spaceship, so the one you fly off to other planets in, and then have the other end of it over on Norvis, or Norbit. And then when you realise you've forgotten a load of stuff, you could have a blue chest next to it, and you could summon stuff to go into that blue chest, and just dump it through the Arcalink, and then grab it out and take it off to use for whatever you want to use it for. So, yeah, we can think of plenty of uses for them, because they're massively overpowered. But they're also massively, massively expensive, which is why we've not used a lot more of them. And also, Mike says that Melancholia is out of sulfuric acid. Yes, that is presumably because it's out of sulfur. Am I right?
That is also correct, yes.
All right, and that is because we don't currently have any on Talos, and we don't have any on Talos because over in... Where am I? No, not here. Yes, over here in space, in Norbit, that's the one, Norbit, we don't have enough of the dark green bottles being fed through. So once the bio spaceship arrives and unloads a massive quantity of Vitalic reagent, we can load all of that into the spaceship. Spaceship will fly over with 8,000 sulfur, and quite a lot of that will find its way out to Melancholia. But I'm afraid that until we get that Vitalic reagent through, or I just give the spaceship a manual poke. Actually, I could do that. You won't be getting any sulfur.
No worries.
I am quite tempted to give the spaceship a manual poke, actually, because I think the sulfur is probably it would be quite useful over there for that. Oh no! Actually, I take it back. We have a bioship has just been and also gone, but because it has been, it is now we now have a lot of the Vitalic reagent flowing into the system, and yes, it's coming out along the top here. So we are going to get some Vitalic reagent now, sooner or later. It just needs to run all the way down the belt. In fact, it's got quite a long way down the belt already. It's got to here. So we will have your Vitalic. We'll have the Vitalic reagent, which means you will get your sulfur fairly soon.
Thank you. I will enjoy seeing it come in. Well, I was going to say next stream, but in fairness, I'm happily expanding the Melancholia Aquatite mining, with the possibility that not one piece of Aquatite from that expanded mine will ever be used.
Yeah, it is I know what you mean. We're carrying on working on things like we're doing Factory Spaceship 6 when we don't really expect to build much more of that sort of thing, but. Yeah, it's a weird position to be in.
Yeah, I would be better off proofing my calculations and just trying to work out where I went wrong.
Or designing a victory ship, since the three of us have already done that and you haven't, because we all did 0.5.
That's also a possibility. Of course, we don't know that your calculations were wrong yet. It could be that one of your triangles was flipped instead of twist turned upside down.
Right, I'm ready to do.
Seems unlikely.
My more likely one.
Still some dead biters in there. Okay, I am ready.
Okay, give me a second. Ready.
Dun dun dun.
So the first glyph is identical.
Mm-hmm.
The rest are different.
That's the only one, right? Was it fairly close to the edge of the first subtriangle?
Yes.
I can't remember now.
Right, okay. So if so, it could be that you accounted for the curvature of the sphere in different ways or something like that. Does not lead anywhere.
Unstable.
Tristan, you're unstable.
The first vector is nearer at the target, I think.
I think so. Yes, it might. Oh,
versus 7-3.
6, 7, 9.
Y is further out.
Yeah.
So the X is closer, but the Y and Z are further out.
Okay. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell you what, I am actually going to do that. I'm going to sit here.
Think.
Yeah.
Think about what you have done.
Do you want me to give you a précis of the method I used?
Yeah, why not?
Because explaining math is good for content.
Yeah, don't use too many words. If you're still talking in 5 minutes, I'll cut you off.
I'll try and keep it to 60 seconds.
Okay.
You remember the interburbulator puzzle?
Yes.
You remember that we made a spreadsheet or we each made a spreadsheet to do it?
Yes.
Well, I took my interburbulator spreadsheet and then basically said, consider the triangle as a square. Because 2 triangles make a square.
This is true.
Then basically that means it will be 2,097,152 cells per side. If you work it out.
Okay, right, yes. Yep.
For all the levels. I then took that spreadsheet, stuck those numbers in for the grid size, and then basically moved the target cell around until it looked about right.
Oh dear.
Then, and this is the fun bit, which is then a bit scary. So I said, well, okay, so the first level is, every 262,144 along is the next first level triangle. And so there's then a bit of maths to sort of translate that back up. But that means that my first x coordinate is 2.4373111134, which, okay, so it's 2. So it's the second triangle along. But I've then got to convert that 0.43, etc.
A thing that has occurred to me that bothers me a little bit here is that you say 2 triangles make a square, and sometimes they do, but not when they're equilateral triangles, which is what we've been sort of assuming the ones on this in this puzzle are.
But that doesn't actually matter, because mathematically what counts is that you have a coordinate system that can detect any, or that can be used to describe any point on the plane, even if the 2 axes are not at right angles.
Tristan, by the way, there are 15 steel pumps here.
Ah, cool. I could have used that.
Yeah,
so
I think I'm kind of with you here, Cloak. Oh, Regular is saying the faces of a pentakis dodecahedron are not equilateral; they're isosceles, which probably makes sense.
Yeah, they are. But
that still wouldn't technically make sense because I'm pairing them off to make a parallelogram.
Yeah, so it still wouldn't work. This stream may get a little mathsy, I'm afraid. So prepare your brainus.
Without going into all of the maths, it does work. The problem comes that I then have to convert that numerical coordinate and then read it off a diagram of the wretched triangle with all the glyphs marked on it. And that's where the problem has probably come in, that I will have taken one of them
and misread it.
Because 2 triangles next to each other, and I'll have picked the wrong one by accident.
Right.
Most likely, when it's a coordinate like 7, 1, where you go off the first triangle onto the second triangle, which is where the rotate or mirror thing comes in.
So my theory was, my method that I would have used to calculate it if I'd had time to do so, which I have not, which is why I don't have an answer to be feeding in here as well. Sorry about that. Is I think I'd have done it sort of manually for the first couple of working out where the points on the triangle, where the point corners of the triangle were, and therefore what the coordinates of the next one in would have been, and so on. And I'd done the first couple, and then tried to work out what my system was that I was doing there in order to automate it for the rest of them. We will see how. I'll find out. I may do some experimentation with that if I ever get any free time and see how that goes.
For those of you watching on Twitch, there is now a Twitch prediction, so you can cast your vote whether or not this attempt will work.
No, Daredevil, we are not done. Well, we might be done. We have a plan of how we believe this puzzle works and how it works, how you solve it, etc., etc. However, we've come up with 4 different answers from 2 people, none of which are mine. And so far, 2 of them have not worked. 2 of them have been incorrect.
So the next one is that Tristan
so
or a Mike one?
The next one is another Mike one. So we've been reasonably close. All of these points have been within 0.02 on all three axes, but they haven't been quite right. So it hasn't been good enough to work. It hasn't been quite close enough to work. If we don't get it in the first 3, possibly 4, then we're going to have to stop and go back to the drawing board, and we will not be going to Stargate this today.
Kobold is offering bribery.
Yeah.
Laurence, I need to refer someone to an ethics commission.
Bribery for what?
Getting it wrong.
She says if we get it right in the first 5, she's going to gift another 10 subs. How are the predictions going? I can't see for it.
Okay, so as long as I don't do a 5th one until we're certain.
Yeah, basically.
Predictions. You've got 1,100 channel points.
Starting. Sorry.
Betted on the yes, and you've got 1,050 bet on no.
Okay, so chat are on our side. Just.
Mark, you're not here. If you want to look.
I've ended submissions. It's.
Nope, this is another unstable one. So we're still wrong. But the problem is
Z is further out on that one.
Right.
So congratulations.
It would be nice for the summary video to put them all on a graph, basically.
Yeah, plot them all on the sphere and see how close they are.
Yeah.
We may need to zoom in quite a long way to see the differences between them, but they are all different.
Yeah, that's doable. Do you want me to explain my method?
Go on.
So, we've got the dodecahedron thing, and so we've got the center points of each of those faces. By taking the center point of the ones around a point, I've then averaged them and then normalized that point to get the coordinates of that point. Then I've used those 3 points and the triangle, and I can divide each of the vectors to go along that one of the sides of the triangle by 8, I think, to get the distance down a triangle. So I can then choose a specific triangle and say, right, I can then plot on a graph. This is the 3 points of that triangle, and then plot the target point, and then adjust which triangle I'm looking at until I get the triangle point, the target point inside that triangle. And then repeat that for the next layer down.
That sounds not a million miles away from the way I was thinking of doing it, but I'm not certain.
It sounds like my first thought, and I just thought I haven't got time to implement that. I'm just going to hack the interpolator spreadsheet.
What are we waiting for over here?
And I think probably the most important difference between Tristan's approach and my approach is that you've actually worked out exactly what the coordinate is, whereas I've gone, that's near enough, it'll be fine.
And spoilers, it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so the Talos Naquium ship is waiting for another 4,000 what's name Vitalic reagent, and we've just run out. So I'm going to dispatch it manually. Well, when it finishes passing stuff through, which it has done now. Right, so going back to chat now. We're yes. So as Regular said, yes, with the Arcolink storage devices, yes, you can make as many of them as you want, and if they have the same number on them as you can see, if I just find the one that we've been playing with over on Talos, they will have a number on them like that, and that number is the surface that they were placed on. So if you put one down on, say, on Talos, it will have, I don't know, a 12. If you then put one down in Talorbit, it will have a 30, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember exactly where they're all set up. But if they have matching numbers, then they will share their inventory. So if I put down one here and then one over here, they will have a shared inventory, and I'll be able to teleport stuff all the way from here to over here. Here. That's not especially useful because, I could run a belt and it wouldn't cost me 20 Arcospheres. However, it does mean that if you put one down on a planet and then you transport it somewhere else without demolishing it, then you can have the two of them linked together and have them in completely different places. And so that's what I did. I placed them both down in, I think these might be Norbit actually. I don't remember for sure. So I placed them both down on a spaceship in sort of weird lumpy things on the side of it. Flew the spaceship over to Talos orbit. detached one of those weird lumpy things, which had an engine on the back of it, so it's a little torpedo thing, and used that to drop down and land on the planet, and then dismantled it from around, or dismantled the rest of the spaceship from around it. So we had one there without actually deconstructing it and then rebuilding it somewhere else. Then we flew the same spaceship that had the other teleport chest on the other side of it in its own little blob, flew that off to Melancholia, where we detached it and built all the infrastructure around it, and that meant that we had the two chests linked together, and it worked as you see at the moment. Which is why, if you look very closely, you can see spaceship flooring underneath it, because that's how we made it. Yes, there are indeed a lot of triangles. Yeah, so you could potentially put in more. I could put in a third one of these somewhere if I wanted it to be linked. So if we went off to another asteroid field because we needed more naquitite, then we could put in a third one of these somewhere and have that and have it feeding naquitite through to here, because as you can see we now don't have enough coming through from Melancholia, probably because it's run out of sulfuric acid. And so if we did that, we could have both of them feeding to here. But it would be a little bit more complicated. But yes, that would certainly work. If we wanted to do a second link, like for example, if we wanted to ship the beryllium back from here back to Norbit in one of these chests, that'd be a bit more awkward because there's a very, very limited inventory in here, and so the more things you start putting into it, you either only load into it when it's very, very empty of that particular thing, in which case you're going to damage the amount of throughput you get, or you end up potentially taking up 2 or 3 slots with it, because each time the belts run, they might put in a significant amount, and so then that effectively limits the number of things you can transport based on the number of slots in the chest. We are also passing through other things down here, but these are just being chucked in at whatever rate and then being taken out at the other end. So these are the input of these is controlled, and then we have a filter on the output. So we could use a similar system as that for shipping stuff around. But again, they're so expensive and they're so late game that we already have all of the infrastructure set up, and we don't want to start spending all of the all of our arcospheres on arcolink storages. So yes, Cobalt has got onto the rocket tech card, so she's gonna complete it before us. I mean, if you go for a spaceship victory, that might almost be possible. Yes, I believe yes, you can link your logistics network to the Arcolink chest as well. So you could say if only insert when there's more than. Or in fact, I suspect we're doing this at the other end. If we go over to Melancholia like this. We'll probably find, yes, there we go. We've got the Arcolink chest linked to all of these belts around here, and they are saying only insert when there is less than 20 naquitite in the chest. So those are all running off that one. The stuff that's sending the stock out here, the ice, the iron, the sulfur, and the ammunition, that is watching what's in this warehouse, and that's being sent back by a transmitter. So we'll load in whichever of those things are needed whenever there's a bit of a shortage over here. At the moment, there's not a shortage over here because I've been sending extras. Well, there is of sulfur, but of the other things, not so much because I've been sending extra through because I've been having issues with a memory cell counter system, basically. And so yeah, down here you can see that we are trying to pass sulfur through, but there isn't any at the moment. So let's play Where is the Talos spaceship? Okay, looks like it has actually arrived in Tal orbit now. Let's have a look. If we look up in orbit, no, it hasn't. Wait, what? Where?
Talos is in orbit. What do you mean Talos N?
Talos N, I meant.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. It's called Talos Naquium, not Talos N. There we go. So it's on its way. It's nearly there. Well, it's more than halfway there. Actually, it's quite a lot more than half. It'll get there soon, and then we can start unloading the sulfur and everything else that's needed. So, how short of vitalic reagent are we over here? Okay, we seem to have run out of it. Oh no, we don't. Well, we've run out of it in the warehouses, but there is still a load on the belt. However, there's presumably very little being fed in. Oh, actually, there's still a bit down here. So we might actually not run out. We might be bringing more out just in time because of all of the other issues we've been seeing. So let's have a quick look at Melancholia, because I'm curious as to whether this current shortage is due to the lack of sulfur. I think it. No, because there's still 200,000. There's still 187,000 acid in this tank down here. So it is this is the speed that Melancholia is capable of providing naquitite at. So you can see this is not what I would call sufficient.
Tristan, is there any reason not to put the amount we have in the spaceports onto the green cable in orbit? Basically putting this green cable to there.
There doesn't appear to be anything on that green signal.
Yeah.
Which is a good sign.
Suggest we've just put the cables in for the sake of it and not needed them anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, there is... Mike is using it up here.
Oh.
Because he's helpful like that.
Oh.
However,
So
that's not connected in. So, so if you want to go into material science and you can't.
No. Basically, I want to add a condition to the module city to only request the green bottles when there is enough of that.
Okay.
So that we prioritize Naquium production over module production.
It's doing that to an extent anyway because of the because we're just chucking it straight out onto the belt there. But further prioritization does make sense, and that would allow us to prioritize science over modules as well. So that could be quite good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How much would Arcosphere science suffer if we added 6 chests? So that's another 6. If we took out another 60 Arcospheres, yes, here please. If we took out another 60 Arcospheres, how many have we got in here? We have a total of 113 in the box at the moment. So we would be taking out half of the spare Arcospheres, and we need to have at least some Arcospheres available for balancing and stuff. So I think I would feel a bit wary about going in and taking out Arcospheres from the system at the moment. So if I wanted to make more Arcosphere chests, I would suggest that we should fly out and get more Arcospheres in order to, and use those to make the chests rather than plundering from here. So rather than taking any out of this system. Now they're fungible, so yeah, you could bring back another 20 and put them or 60, put them into the box here, let them get put into the system, and then start taking the lambdas out. That would be absolutely fine. But I wouldn't want to just go in and pull 60 out of here. I don't think. Yes, well, they're not technically probes, they are Arcosphere collectors, which are different because of the spelling. Sophia suggests that Marc could add use a signal transmitter and signal receiver to send the signal over there. But when you're on the planet, you feel or on the same surface, it feels like you might as well just use the cable systems.
Also, we use the green cable on Norvis for the same functionality to basically indicate how much there is available. So it makes sense.
Using a signal transmitter and receiver on the same surface would be a bit like using an Arco link on the same surface. Although, granted, not as ludicrously expensive.
I'd like to point out these are not attempts to solve it. These are additional data gathering things.
Okay.
You can tell by the way
yes, you could indeed. That would be quite a neat system, actually, using a spaceship supplied by Arcochest to collect more Arcospheres. Yes, you could use that to send all kinds of useful things out to it, like additional fuel, additional Arcosphere collectors, probes, all the bits and pieces that are needed, and just keep it flying around outside from asteroid field to asteroid field, and never needing to come back. Yes, that would be quite neat. I think the additional data gathering attempts are unlikely to solve it. So there are 60 different glyphs we can put in there. Actually, there's 64 for most of them. So the chances of us accidentally solving it are, if the chance of us solving it if we put in random glyphs is how many glyphs do we program in? I can't remember.
So to be fair, it's probably 6 which have the full set and 1 which is a 1 in 2. Those are the actual question mark.
Oh right,
ones.
yeah, okay.
I think I found it. I think I've worked out which one I got backwards.
Oh.
So 60 to the power 6 are different possible combinations at this point.
Sorry, say again.
Oh, was that talking about something Cobalt was saying?
Okay. So I found one where I'd mirrored instead of rotating by accident. I'd just got them backwards. Which, given it was the 6th glyph in, it's probably too far down the line to have a 0.01 or is it 0.01 impact in each axis. But you never know.
Yeah, worth a try.
I'll send you the new sequence in a second if that's right.
Sure.
Just want to prove the rest of them.
No God thinks you just brute force the 60 to the power 6 combinations. Yes, Christoph, you are technically correct. 60 times 64 to the 7 would be correct. However, we are virtually certain of the first one, and the second one is probably a flip between two possible glyphs. So we could claim that it's actually only 64 to the 6 times 2.
I'm slightly assuming that the 4 extras are not going to be in the final thing. That's not a guarantee, but it feels like it'd be slightly weird to have them.
It would be very weird to have the middle one.
Actually, in the final.
No, they could be, because they're just another sub-triangle on the triangles.
They could be, but it still feels slightly weird.
It honestly, it depends on how the solution is generated. If it's literally pick a random number for all 3 vectors, then there's no reason why not. They're equally likely.
Yeah.
As any of the individual other glyphs. If, on the other hand, it's a...
Here's 10 options.
Well, I was going to say,
if it's picked a large, if it's just picked a series of glyphs and then said, well, that's what we're going to call and then worked out the position of that, then yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah, if you've done that, then. Yeah.
Jonathan informs us that launching 1 million Arcosphere collectors would get you about 4,000 Arcospheres. There's some diminishing returns for you, because especially as the first one you launch will probably get you about 5. And Christoph would like us to calculate the sum of the error squared. So add up the differences between the point we landed and the point we're aiming for, and square it for each of the 3 dimensions. I'm not going to do that personally, but if one of you other guys would like to do that, that would be an interesting numbers. To see how close we've actually got. Or alternatively, work out the angle between the vector we're looking for and the vectors we actually got. That would probably be a better way to analyse the difference. See how many degrees out we are.
That sounds like maths shenanigans.
It does.
I vote Mike does it.
That seems like a reasonable suggestion. Not even Mike likes maths. Nobody likes maths.
I like maths, just maths is quite a wide-ranging discipline, and I like certain areas of maths.
Mike does not like wide-ranging discipline.
Don't.
You could only collected spheres from one system. Blimey.
I mean, if you sent out the stuff for it with every Naquium ship.
True. Yeah, it'd be an expensive way of getting them all, but it would work. So, yeah. Why not? Alright, so we have the reagent is flowing again to an extent. You can see it coming out in certain handfuls as it flows along here. Because another ship has arrived from Big Rid. So the Big Rid system does seem to be basically working now. We've got a nice flow of ships happening.
I've sent you my revised estimate, Tristan. It's just number 6 glyph is different.
Okay. The fact that it's just one glyph that's different doesn't
make it
any easier to put in. But
it makes it easier to update your whatever you're looking at. Oh, so we're still asking for another 7,000? No. Oh, no, the ship is asking for 7,000, but it hasn't arrived yet. Yeah, okay, fine. And a load of sulfur and right. Let's go and have a look at Talos again while we're waiting for Tristan to program the Stargate. Poor Tristan.
I'm halfway through programming a different one.
Oh, okay.
This is a quick one because I'm just putting the bottom right corner in multiple times. No, please don't park there.
I wasn't going to, don't worry.
Is Mike trying to park
on your head?
Right
on the Stargate.
Oh, is he? Someone was trying to land the ship when I was when you were giving your description of how you did it, Tristan, and I was it was a little bit distracting because it felt like the world's largest space invader just moving backwards and forwards across my view.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's now 3 of us in orbit.
Are you all flying out there one at a time?
Yeah, assuming Mike is actually here.
Yeah. I am. Yeah, I park next to your ship.
That's Mark's ship.
I park next to Mark's ship. parked next to Mark's ship there.
Right.
I can't see Mark though. I am assuming
He's right next to me.
Alright, so the Telos Naquium ship has arrived, has unloaded, and we're now passing loads of stuff through here, and Mike will be glad to hear there's a couple of thousand sulfur coming in the train already, and then another 3,000 in the warehouse, so not very much unfortunately, but it's a start. And also we've got 12,000 green bottles as well, which is nice, so maybe we'll be able to fill the ship up a little bit more quickly next time, and it's most of the way back, so that's working fairly well.
Mark, I saw that.
Maiden.
Naquium supply rockets. Blimey, that's an interesting way of getting all the way out to
yeah, I
Boston
didn't build any spaceships until the Victory spaceship.
Blimey.
I automated very neatly with rockets, so why change it?
Cost, basically. Cost of rocket fuel and the effort of producing all the rocket fuel.
Well, if you have 2 oil planets automated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
That'll do it. Yeah, I had 1 oil moon producing enormous quantities of rocket fuel in my previous run, and it was kind of hanging on, kind of.
I mean, in fairness,
right, where are we now?
If you look at the sort of resources of the things in our warehouses of shape, plural, plus stuff like the earlier game stuff that we just gone, you know what, not using this anymore, like the 2 bajillion greenhouses. That's a phenomenal quantity of resources effectively wasted.
Yes, no, I think it's not as well. The rocket parts is quite a lot of, but in theory we could have sort of churned through those as we switch gradually over from spaceships to rockets. I think you're exaggerating how much you don't realise how much resource goes into transient things like making science packs and making rocket fuel and so on, compared to the amount that goes into the relatively small amount that goes into making buildings. Buildings are really cheap in Factorio.
Yeah, absolutely. And as with all these things, the cost of the building, especially a resource production building, tends to zero as time tends to infinity, because you divide the cost of that based on production.
But even very early on, even building up a large production area, with the exception of some of the stuff like the more advanced modules in space exploration, the buildings they're dirt cheap. It's like one of the technical advantages of using LTN is that you can have fewer trains. But yes, technically that is correct. But nobody cares because trains are so cheap to make, and the same is true for chemical plants, and even a lot of the space exploration buildings are pretty cheap.
Yeah, I'm just when we've got a whole load of catalogs and so on sat in warehouses.
Yeah, and catalogs are a thing we should probably be a little bit more careful about and try and hang on and put those back where they belong. But again, they're not necessarily wasted; they're just in the wrong place. I'm
only defining them as wasted because I don't believe we're ever actually going to take them out of there.
And given the stage we are of the game now, I think you're almost certainly right. Yeah. However, also a single catalogue, not that expensive. Consider how many of them you get through for any given research you're doing.
Oh yeah. It's not a single catalogue. It's I have a look. In my mind, there's multiple stacks of catalogues.
It's possible,
but let's actually check it rather than. I mean, things like the one here which has got 20,000 belts of various colours. Roughly.
Now the belts
those get used.
Those are getting used
exactly. I was going to say you got to discount those because exactly as you say, there is reasonable expectation of usage.
And also they well, I was going to say they've come from an upgrade, but I suppose the same could be said for the greenhouses. So that's not a valid argument there.
Yeah, I mean, it's 11k space belts, which I don't think have come from upgrades. They've probably been put down, picked up a few times.
A bunch of them will have come from upgrades because we've done a whole load of deep space belts.
Yes, some will, but after the 11th, I don't believe we put down 11,000 deep space belts. Maybe we have.
No, doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, 11k is excessive.
Yeah, you're right. Rockets are
Not
simpler to automate, probably, because as you say, they can go to any landing pad with the correct name. But you do then have to worry about the logistics of shipping out all of the all of the rocket sections and the rocket pods, and also making sure you have fuel being made at all ends of a transport system. Whereas when you switch over to spaceships, a spaceship will just turn up. It doesn't use anything apart from electricity and ion stream, which is fairly easy to produce, and then it can bring stuff out and take stuff away, and it doesn't need to be refueled at the other end. So it's much simpler from a logistics point of view, from that sort of point of view. However, yes, you do need to then think about how you're going to program everything up. And sending it out, I feel that sending out a mixed spaceship... No, I was going to say I feel that sending out a... Yeah, sending out a mixed spaceship is slightly easier, because you'll typically have one spaceship going to a place. Although whilst you could do that with rockets, you're more likely to end up with a landing pad for each particular resource, I suspect.
No, I made rockets and landing pads per planet or per destination, basically. So you just send over the request what you want there, and so it's also much more convenient for building materials, because you're out at the outpost and you forgot like 2 things of something. You just request them and they will automatically appear.
Yeah,
because I did the loading via robots.
Yeah, I can certainly see the advantages of it. I think spaceships are more interesting, but I can certainly see, and also I got a bit fed up in my 0.5 run with the effort of trying to keep the rocket parts supplied in order to make more rockets, and also having to make the rocket fuel in order to launch the rockets. So I sort of wanted to avoid both of those in this game, which is why we minimised rocket usage. That said, in the last 2 years, I've got significantly better at Factorio, and I don't think I would have trouble automating that in my next run if I did it. Yes, I'm not saying I got good at Factorio, although I think I'm not. I think I'm probably reasonably good at it. But I'm definitely better at it than I was 2 years ago.
It's all right, Mark. As a fellow project manager, if I say to you, the team lead always sort of covers for the faults of some of the more junior members of the team. You'll know what I'm saying.
Right.
Next one.
Doing the next set.
Cool. So this is Mike's corrected or updated.
Yes.
Looks like that glyph is different.
There was a burst of lag.
This feels slower.
Not a coincidence. It does, but I wouldn't read too much into that.
Nope, still unstable. Sorry, Mike, you're still unstable.
The question is it closer? Let's write that out.
6.7 rather than 6.8. I would say it's slightly closer, but still about 0.01 off. Maybe 0.07 off, or something like that.
0.07 instead of 0.1. Okay.
Yes.
So it's you've taken a third off the distance.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, there will be another one where I've
one in from that, essentially, or maybe 2 in.
Because
2 in is the one you have 2 in a row of the same. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, it depends how much randomness there is in the address we're trying to find.
It feels not random, but I know that's not how random works.
Yeah, people are not good at random.
So generating that set created about 100, emptied about 100 capsules things. Canisters
100
of fuel.
Wow, that seems like quite a lot.
They're 1,000 each. Yes.
So 100,000. So we've used that's only half of one of these matter tanks. Then that's not so bad. So we can do it 6 times each time the ship comes. Well, slightly less than 6 times each time the ship comes out. Right, I'm going to go and talk about chat for a little while because we've been neglecting them because we've all been talking. Yes, you can make rocket fuel the cheap, the nearly free way where you just stick in a metal plate and a load of air or whatever it is. But you pay. That is free in or nearly free in resources, but it's astonishingly expensive in UPS and just setup cost and space and all that sort of effort and space and so on. As Mark says, it's incredibly slow. We said the data collection attempts didn't count, Cobalt. It's only the real ones that we're counting, as you say.
in a moment.
That's 4 attempts.
Yes, that was indeed the 4th attempt. Yes.
I'm going to write down the distance from actual. Just in real terms distance. I can't be bothered doing this angle.
Yeah, that real-term distance is probably good enough. Yes, beating a single cargo rocket launch probably would be doable, but it'd be about as much fun as doing a lazy bastard run that lasts for 1,000 hours. So I think we're probably not. So actually, no, it'd only be the middle sort of 200 hours of the game that would be painful, where you're still trying to get out. And you say only one. Is it technically doable? How would you get out to the other planets to get other exotic resources? I suppose you'd have the spaceship, wouldn't you? So yeah, you could sort of limp out there. It'd be a massive pain, but it would be theoretically doable. In fact, it wouldn't be far off what we sort of aimed vaguely towards that. It's just we used rockets for taking out all of the construction materials to the other planets because anything else would have been ridiculous. But yeah, we did a kind of minimal rocket usage method anyway. What are we doing and how are we calculating? So yes, we've explored all of the pyramids. Basically, see Saturday's video for what we're actually doing. But in a nutcase, we've found all the pyramids. We've worked out that we reckon that we've got the positions of enough of the glyphs on the circle. We've translated from the triangle glyphs to the circle glyphs, and then we're sort of assuming that each layer is triangles after triangles going downwards. So we may or may not be right there. Who knows? But that's the theory we're working on at the moment. We're not guessing any of the inputs. They're educated guesses, I suppose. We are calculating them, but not necessarily accurately. Will this run make it to the leaderboard at speedrun? I have no idea whether this will count as a speedrun. I don't know how many people have done this in a way that is approved and therefore would be counted. But
the honest answer is probably yes. It'll be in the top 100 because there haven't been 100 idiots before who've completed it.
Yeah, and I think you need proof as well. So you need to have streamed or recorded the entire run. So yeah.
Oh no! If only someone had been streaming this entire run.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe we will have got the speed run. We should have a look and see. Yeah, I think as I said in exactly as I think I said this in the what to take to space video. I believe your first rocket launch should probably be to go out and get the abandoned spaceship, because why wouldn't you? It's just a free way of getting around the solar system much more easily.
By the way, that video was really eye-opening for me to just don't take anything, because in my 0.5 run, I always took like everything I needed and was frustrated about the losses.
Yes, if you can get out, as long as you can get there without crash landing a rocket, then you can you can be much more efficient. I suppose technically I've restarted space exploration once, because I played 0.5 and then I didn't do the archaeological victory, and then I played 0.6. So yeah, this is my second try.
Okay, so those two. So the two.
Have you found more mistakes?
Yeah. In terms, okay, so the two serious attempts I had, the mirror attempt was after we did the rotate one, knew that was going to be off. The first one we did was 0.017691 from the target, and the second one was 0.017627. So it's closer by 0.00064. Which is
progress.
Not a lot closer, but it also implies that one of the glyphs higher up the chain is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That does suggest that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm currently getting the corner points of your first two glyphs.
Thank you. That might well make a big difference.
So just confirm that it's within that. I did the same for my first two glyphs, and I think it was Y coordinate is not within them.
Yeah. Your glyph number 2, if you remember, I initially said one thing and then changed my mind. And then you initially said the same thing that I said second, and then changed your mind. Did you change your mind to the one that I said first?
Why is that not requesting?
No, okay.
Why am I not requesting memory cards over here?
The one you ended up on was the one that was what I suggested by looking at it at the sphere by eye.
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah. It's that number 2 glyph, which is...
Oh.
It's close enough, because the other thing that we haven't really discussed is if you project... Anybody who looks at maps knows this. If you project a sphere onto a 2D space, it's not quite right.
You have to... Yeah, one of the projections.
Yeah, you get stuff that doesn't quite work. And the question in this is basically the same thing. Are we projecting
Are the triangles rounded or flat? Basically?
Yeah. So this was something we talked about. Was whether was taking into account the curvature of the sphere in order to determine whether we needed how much because that is going to give you a bit of an offset.
Yeah, and that
I've just sort of blindly assumed it doesn't, and then but normalised each time to minimise the amount of error there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because that you could I suspect the very smallest triangles is basically not going to. It's going to make it such an insignificant difference that you can barely even detect it. However, I think you're going to have a. I think before that, the early triangles is going to make quite a big difference because it's going to be a relatively significant amount. So I think yes, it does need to be. Yeah. It does need to take into consideration.
Yeah, it's my second glyph is. The short version is it's 0.0004 away from a line.
That sounds dangerous.
Exactly, and that's potentially just enough.
I guess if you wanted to be sure, the slightly less clever way of doing it would be to
test it.
Would be to check each time you produce a triangle. You say, okay, I think I'm going to be in this triangle. Does that fit the is it right? Is it
if I was going to write a computer program to do it, I would take a completely different approach because I'd be using 18th century navigation techniques of latitude and longitude comparisons.
Right.
And I would be programming the thing to constantly be going back into because you're sailing a ship across the sea. You can't see land or anything like that. You can't just draw on a map where you are because projections. So instead, everything has to be conducted in a 3D spherical frame of reference. Where are you on the surface of the Earth? Spot the similarity.
Yeah.
And so those techniques have been well known for hundreds of years. And I basically go like that. But then what you're doing every time is you're going back and saying, am I within this zone?
Yes, that's exactly what I meant. And yes, I was considering putting in logic for these inserters to make sure that it would keep the two warehouses balanced, but then I decided I couldn't be bothered because it's fiddly, and so I just removed them again. It'll be fine. Chat's been talking. I should talk to chat.
You can if you want.
It's why they're here. It'd be rude not to. I think yes. You need to have a certain level of Factorio practice and skill, I guess, before space exploration becomes feasible, because it is such a big. It gets a lot more complicated than vanilla Factorio does later on. So yeah, I would say you want to have done at least one big overhaul mod and be quite comfortable with using circuits, I would say, before you go in and start playing before you play space exploration. If you're adding K2 as well, then it's going to be a little bit harder, but not enormously so. But it will make it a bit of a longer run as well. If you make nice designs that keep you happy, then that's much better.
I think, especially for something like K2SE, the big thing you got to acknowledge right up front is it's a marathon, and I do mean marathon.
Yeah, we've played for 266 hours of in-game time, so that's somewhere in the region of 1,300 hours between us because there's 4 of us, and quite a lot of that time has been played at significantly less than 60 UPS. So we probably haven't hit 2,000 hours of actual play, but we're probably not that far off it. Yeah, playing vanilla more is. Oh, I see. Yeah, playing vanilla demotivated you. That's not ideal.
It depends why vanilla was demotivating. I mean, for me, I tried my own solo 0.6 run, and I got to the first planet. I found a planet which has vulcanite and cryonite on it. You know, that's the holy grail of planets in this. And I just lost enthusiasm almost instantly. I was like, oh, I cannot be bothered. You know, I've got all the blueprints, I've got all the systems, but it's near enough starting from scratch. Slap it all down, run around, do the thing.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, although you didn't do cryonite or vulcanite, so that would at least have been slightly different. But again, it's not that different. Yes, doing cryonite or vulcanite is different than doing iridium, but it's not that different. It's a lot easier, but it's not that different because it's still just going in and putting in the same sort of basic systems. It's setting up the same sort of logistic systems to carry it around and take it away. So yeah, I can totally see that. But then you've been playing space exploration for the last 300, 400 hours or whatever it is. Maybe maybe in a year or so where you'll fancy trying it again with when 0.7 comes out or something like that. But at the moment, I can totally see why you would be space exploration out, especially treading the same ground all over again, but without another 3 people to help you with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be honest and say that in the earlier days when I was still getting my head around things, I did quite a bit of between streams just planning things out. And sitting there diagramming stuff up and working it out, pen and paper stuff mostly, because I was sat there going, especially for Iridium, I was there going, well, I've got no idea what's going on here. I haven't learned all the techniques that are now. I definitely have learned a lot over the last 2 years. We've been doing this.
Yeah, it's very nearly. It's not quite 2 years, I think.
Well, it's 23 months.
Yeah, there we go. Very, very close.
Yeah, it was.
We can try and finish. We have a sort of a celebratory video come out on the 2-year anniversary of when we started.
Well, pulling the curtain back slightly, talking about the retrospective, that was something that I was going to just whip together. Was a bunch of statistics. It's this number of hours in game, this number of videos, this amount of calendar time elapsed, etc.
Yeah, would be interesting.
You should really secure that curtain, Laurence. Mike keeps pulling it back.
He just wants to. He keeps wanting to look at things, and well, I don't know. It's hard to keep him out. Dirty boy that he is.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Sophia. That does add to the time I spent in it. I happen to know because I looked it up because of the original teaser trailer, which we made. Actually, in fairness, about 2 years ago now. Looking at the number of hours each of the 4 of us had in game. And these 3 were around 2,000. I think 2 of you were. I think one was 1.8k or 1.9k.
Yeah, I was 1.8.
I think Laurence was 1.9 and Tristan was 2.1. I think.
That sounds familiar. I think I was slightly under a big round number, which is probably 2,000. Yes.
Yeah, from memory, the 3 of you were that. I was under 500. Although, in fairness, I also played the game forever ago when it was in 0.10 or whatever, and I don't think I had that through Steam, so it's a little bit unbiased, but I didn't put a huge number of hours in. Yeah, I was having to learn a huge amount of stuff outside of the run just to keep pace.
Yeah,
which I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. That bit I think was one of the more fun bits.
Okay, so we've actually got a decent amount of Immersite up here. And I should look at what chat was saying. Yes, Sophia was talking about his base being eaten by biters. Yeah, it's the biters are a weird thing because they're in a way they are pretty much the only failure condition in Factorio. You can't lose the game unless your base gets eaten by biters, and if you ignore sort of weird edge cases like being on a small island and running out of stone or something like that. Basically, yeah, the only way to actually lose is to get overrun by biters, and that's the only way that's in sort of. So yeah, it's a bit weird and a bit different to everything else that happens. I agree. Spherical trigonometry is definitely brain hurty. I don't know what we're going to be doing about that. Yes, I think we'll need the luck daredevil. Thank you. I'm not sure what Cobalt's been cheating with. You use slapping down massive blueprints for everything rather than actually building things on the fly. Yes, 4 hours per week for 4 hours nearly every week for nearly 2 years. So we're looking at about, well, that's 100 weeks, probably pretty close to 100 weeks. So about 400 hours, and we're on 266. So that suggests that most of the time we've been running at about 3/4 the actual speed. The reason the UPS is down at 30 is because we have an enormous factory across many, many planets, and our computers can't keep. Well, my computer in particular can't keep up. It seems to be limited at 30. Although that said, it's a bit weird because when I'm running the factory offline and recording a video, I can generally run it at about 40 UPS. But then whenever Tristan takes the speed above about 50%, my computer is the one that lags, and it gets really, really awkward and difficult and laggy for me. And I don't understand why, because in theory, my computer should be doing less at that point. The only thing it's not doing is connecting to the server. I think Tristan wants us to have a look at Fenestra.
Yes, because we're going to run out of power if.
Okay.
Yeah, we're yeah.
Wibbly, wibbly, wibbly.
Part of me hopes this doesn't work, because if it does, then I know exactly what's gone wrong. No, it didn't work. Oof.
No, just...
Okay, let's have a look at that then.
Hang on, you didn't want it to work because if it had worked, you would have known what had gone wrong.
Yeah, and then it would have been a problem of spherical trigonometry.
Right.
Which is a good thing to dislike, let's be...
Oh, so you played vanilla enough to learn a bit more about Factorio and therefore spotted more mistakes you've been making in space exploration. That's fair enough. I can see how that would be a bit frustrating. You're going, oh, if I'd only had done this differently in that way. But then that's what Factorio is about. You always... in this run, I've seen many, many things that I've come back to them and gone, I wish I'd done this differently in the past. Or even, I wish I'd done this differently last week, which is technically the past, but it's not quite as far in the past as I was suggesting.
Okay, that was a lot closer.
Ooh. Okay.
A lot closer.
You changed the second glyph.
Yeah, but
you changed it in the right direction, which is the impressive part.
Yeah.
Do I just... no.
Yeah, maybe the recap should at least add a bit to the time, because a lot of what I'm looking at is stuff that's just stuff that I'm just talking about what we did, so it's recapping and looking at what the others have been getting up to. But you're quite right. I do spot quite a lot of mistakes going through the videos, and Regular spots quite a lot of mistakes when he's watching the videos as well. So. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is effectively somewhat extra time that has been spent working on the factory in a way, because then it's very, very quick to find the mistakes the next time. Like last week, I was able to go straight to Agnair and go, oh yes, I need to remove that loop of rail because that's where the problem was. I found it in the video. That's nice. That's absolutely trivial. So yeah, you're right. That does add to it a bit. I remember back when I was doing the 0.5, sometimes I would save after making a video recording because I spent a fair amount of time during the video. I actually fixed some things during the video, and I go, yeah, I think that's worth keeping. I will do. But in this one, I haven't at all because Tristan has been keeping the official save, so I wouldn't have been able to update it.
I would have refused.
Yeah, exactly. So Cobalt has played 630 hours of Factorio in the last 2 years, or more than in the last 2 years while we've been doing this run.
I did discover earlier that the four of us combined have cleared 10,000 hours now.
Ooh.
Yeah, you lose when the factory stops growing. Yes, that's true. But usually the factory will stop. There are only three reasons why the factory will stop growing. One is that you get it overrun and eaten by biters. The second one is that you complete whatever you are trying to do, and the third one is that you give up, possibly because your UPS has got too abysmal. So yeah, you do lose when the factory stops growing, but usually if you lose, it's either because you've finished, you've given up, or the biters have eaten your factory. Yeah, I think I agree, Sphere. The motivation thing is, I've noticed streaming has had a big effect on my motivation level. When I was doing back in the many years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was playing Angel Bobs, I would get to a point where I'd have not so much a rage quit as just a what the hell is this quit, because I'd finish a thing. And then in Angel Bob's, recipes are ridiculous, as you may or may not know. So I'd look at the next thing I have to do, and I go, oh, I can't be bothered with that right now. I'll play some more another time. Whereas if you're streaming, I've basically said, well, I'm going to play for the next 4 hours, or maybe 5 hours if I get particularly engrossed. And so if I get to a point where I finish a thing, and I look at the next recipe and go, oh my god, that's horrific, I have to start working on it anyway. So I think there's a big thing there where it gives you that nudge in the right direction, and also having a scheduled time to play means you will go along and do and play then. And I find that I have the same sort of problem with workouts. If I just think, yes, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, great. I'll get to a workout day and I'll go, okay, I'll do it a bit later. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I need to start thinking about going to bed, or at least I don't want to work out just before I go to bed. I'll have to do it tomorrow, and then it slips and slips and slips. But if I have a workout buddy, someone who comes over and we do a workout together, then because I know they're going to turn up at such and such a time, then I will do the workout and I'll enjoy it and I'll be glad I did it. But without someone along to give me that nudge in the right direction, it's too easy to procrastinate it a bit on just thinking, I'll do it another time. And that applies even if it's not someone just turning up at my house. It's if I'm planning to go off and meet with a group. I have the same sort of thing as well. It gives you
That's exactly why I play badminton with Pete each week.
Yeah, exactly, the same sort of thing. And I know a lot of people there's a traditional D&D problem where you don't set a specific schedule, and this could apply to anything. It could apply to Factorio as well. You say, yeah, we'll chat after our next session. We'll chat and plan the next one. And it just never happens because everyone goes, oh, I'm busy then, I can't do it there. No, how about there? No, can't do that one, and so on. It goes on forever, and you never get anything planned. But if beforehand you say we will play every Thursday, then okay, occasionally people will miss a session, and you might cancel the odd session here and there because a lot of people can't make it. But in general, you are much more likely to stick to it, and that's so. Yeah, at least with my motivation, and I don't think that's rare. I find that having something to push you towards doing a thing makes you much more likely to do it. I can't easily vis you. Yes, I could. I suppose we could. Mike, we've got a request to put the closest gate dialing error on stream. So, are you referring to the sort of the distance away we are from the actual correct answer? Well, correct. What we think is the correct answer, because we could probably someone could chuck that in chat, and that would help.
Oh, you want the address?
I'm not sure. Visu, please specify what information does you actually want. I think I wouldn't be able to watch Factorio. Sorry, watch a TV show and play Factorio at the same time. I'd get distracted by one or the other. I'd lose track and get confused. I think I wouldn't. I'd neglect one or the other. So I'd probably get so engrossed in Factorio that I just didn't watch the. That I just didn't watch the TV show, or possibly I'd start watching the TV show, so I'd pause Factorio to make sure I didn't have any problems while I was not paying attention to it, and then I'd just be watching the TV show. So that does not work for me, not at all. I'm like Sophia, I can't multitask like
that. Sum of the error squared is 0.00014. Linear distance is 0.011823, roughly.
0.1. Okay. It sort of worked with the 100-ton challenge. That was a little bit fuzzier because I didn't have quite the same level of specific time I was doing things, and I kind of abandoned the videos, but I did complete the challenge. So I did. Was it over a month? I forget what the it was. Yes, it was through January, wasn't it? I did hit the total amount of weight by the end of it. Not by a huge amount, but I did hit it. But I didn't. But I got a bit behind with the videos, and then sort of lost the motivation to produce, or didn't produce those. So yes and no. It's kind of a kind of hard to say. And also, I think there wasn't a huge amount of interest in weightlifting on my channel. Although I think one or two of the shorts got a ridiculously large number of views, but it didn't translate into anything else. And just as I finished doing it, YouTube starting to pay people for shorts. So it was just well, fine, screw you guys too. So yeah, maybe. I think I probably find podcasts almost as distracting. Although I do know some people will watch my streams and play Factorio at the same time, because there've definitely been a few people who've commented that they've heard the bleep bloop alert noises and they haven't been sure whether it's from the stream or their factory and panicked a bit. Oh, is it you? Okay, Cobalt, it's you. Yeah, you might be right. Maybe the overlap between people who play Factorio and people who lift weights is not very significant. Oh yeah, and Pelu is also playing Factorio and watching as well. So I guess it makes sense. Especially a lot of the stream does sort of turn a little bit podcasty at times, especially moments like now where I'm aware that I've just been staring at the Stargate for the last I don't know exactly how long, but it's been a little while, I've not actually been playing Factorio. I've just been talking about the concepts of playing Factorio instead. So it's definitely turned into a podcast.
That should be.
Thanks for the sub, Play Not. I accept that it's 48, but it was 48 minutes ago. But I appreciate the sub anyway. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're doing our best to pop the gate open, Sophia. Well, I say we. Mike is doing his best to pop the gate open. So we'll see how that goes.
Lots of spherical trigonometry. Do not like.
Joy. I don't know. So when you say it's much more difficult than when you say all the overhauls is much more difficult than only SE and K2, is it significantly more difficult, or is there just a lot more of it? Because a lot of space exploration and K2, a lot of it hasn't been exactly difficult. It's been going in and doing more or less the same sort of things, just with a different set of resources. Each one has its own slight challenges, of course, but they're all. It's the basic sort of. You see what inputs you need, you see what outputs it'll get you. You plug one into the other, and generally it mostly tends to sort of fall through fairly easily. The challenge is in then making a sort of a nice, neat system that'll be reasonably tidy and so on. Okay, so the recipes are difficult as well then. Okay, the Stargate is from space exploration. I don't know if it's been changed by K2. I imagine probably not, but it is basically it is very much a space exploration thing. There are two possible victories in space exploration. You either have the I've built a spaceship and flown it in a long way very, very fast for a long time, or you have the I've solved the Stargate puzzle, and either of those I believe will take you to a victory. Ooh, look, we've got lots and lots of immersite crystals and no immersium plates. That makes a change. Normally it's the other way around. We're still short of the Vitalic reagent, sure.
Working on it.
Oh, good. Oh, is it just? I assumed it was just filling up buffers after the problems we sorted last week.
No, the prioritization.
Okay. Oh, right. Yes, that. The Astro catalogs are recovering nicely. It's going fair. Oh, I was going to go and check on those. Oh, but I fixed the memory card problem there. We're still very, very short of green belts, but that's due to the immersium plate shortage over here as well. So once that feeds through sufficiently well, then we should be fine. Yeah, the core mining is quite nice. I don't know what proportion of our resources are coming from core mining. Let's have a look. Production. If I look at core. You can see over the last 10 hours, I need more words in here. Fragment. We've churned through 8.1 million core fragments, and I think you get 4 iron out of each one. Oh, but we're productivity modulating it though, and we've generated 5 million iron ore.
We're getting iron from Oliran.
Yes, that's what I was trying to compare.
Okay, but we're using that for, if there's enough of it, we're using it for matter.
True.
Copper would.
No, we're not getting copper from anywhere else. I wanted to see how much resource we were getting that wasn't coming from core mining. And copper ore, we've made 6 million of that apparently. All right, let's look at all time.
Well, we're not. We're only placing mines for the exotics, or iron or stone on the dedicated planets.
Yes. So I wanted to see how much. So I wanted to see how much iron and stone we got through that we hadn't, or iron specifically we got through that hadn't come from core mining, because that would tell me how much we were getting through, how much of that particular resource we were getting through that wasn't coming from core mining, which was the question.
Yeah, most of the most of the iron from Oliran is from cores, actually. Actually, all of it is.
Yes, but the iron that isn't coming out of cores is iron that isn't coming out of cores. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, if you forget
that's producing iron ore.
That's producing iron ore from cores. Yeah, okay, so there's very little iron.
No, from iron ore cores.
Yes.
Not.
Yeah. Yes. But
so
I see what you mean. Yes,
so you have to include the number from that as well.
And also, because all the stuff most of the stuff that's coming over from Oliran and Randragon is coming out of core mining anyway, it's sort of irrelevant. So yes, yes, you can get everything from core mining. However, the exotic resources, that would be incredibly slow. So out on, say, Agnea, I have over here. We are producing vulcanite from core fragments. Here is a train that has come from a core mine. These are vulcanite core fragments. They are being fed through, chewed down into to make the vulcanite. That's then being passed through over to here and turned into the actual vulcanite cubes that we or enriched vulcanite that we need in order to keep the factory running. And so yes, we can produce it from core mining. However, a lot of the time, this system is we're not producing the core chunks fast enough in order to keep this happy, and so therefore we have all of these stations that are being fed from basic vulcanite mines of the traditional sort, where you are just digging stuff out of the ground, and the patch will eventually run out, and that's being fed through. And actually, currently these belts are. I was going to say these belts are currently not flowing. They actually are flowing. We are currently using quite a lot of that because we need that much vulcanite basically. So yes, in theory, we could produce everything we need from core mining. However, if you do that, your factory is going to be running significantly slower than if you start digging these patches up as well. Yes, I could go out and find theoretically another vulcanite planet. It's not that small though. Agnea is an actual planet. This is not Taishakuten, which is the moon we went to and started digging up vulcanite on that one first. We've abandoned Taishakuten. We've gone to Agnea, which is the vulcanite planet in the Kalida system. If we wanted to get more vulcanite, we would have to leave the Kalida system, probably. Angela, let's have a quick look, see if I'm correct about that. Calamity. What? Calamity. What's Kalidus? Oh, it's tagged further up, so we don't get to see it. Maybe. Yeah. So I thought it showed everything. Anyway, yeah. So we've got Agnea here. We've got Taishakuten, which has a little bit, but it is 2,000, which is it's a third of the size of Norvis, but it's not tiny, but it's not big either. But we would have to go off to another system in order to do that. If you're doing that with rockets, it's incredibly expensive. If you do it with spaceships, it takes quite a long time for it to flow through. It's a lot slower, but yes, in theory, we could go out a system to go off and find another one. If we'd needed more if we needed more copper, we would have had to have left the Kalida system because there isn't a copper primary around Kalidus. We'd have had to go off to, I think Capellus has a copper primary, so one of these planets would be one we could go to and get copper from here. There we go, Regis. We could get copper from here, and that would be our nearest supply of with a copper primary. But we don't seem to have needed all that much copper. All of our core mining has been sufficient to supply that. No, you are not too late, Ilya. As Saphira said, we have not popped the Stargate open. Well, we've not got the Stargate pointing where we want it to go yet. Yeah, true. Yeah, all right. Let's find out where the biggest vulcanite planet is. So if we open this up and we go sort by size and go down to 0, the biggest. No, this is smallest. The biggest vulcanite planet is these. Oh, these are all. Wait, what? Can we have actual planets, please? The largest vulcanite planet is this one, Dedrim, which is 50% bigger than Norvis. Where is it? It is around Astamore, which is, I have no idea, but it's somewhere out there. It's somewhere in deep space. So the point is, it would take quite a long time to get ships out there. Transporting stuff back from other solar systems. It doesn't help that I was looking at asteroid fields, not planets, not suns rather. Going out to other solar systems in order to get resources is tricky because it's a long way, basically. Yes, in theory, you could stick an Arcosphere chest out there, except no, you couldn't, because you won't have researched them at the point where you need lots and lots of Vulcanite. So, nope, can't do that with an Arcos. You can't use an Arcolink storage for that. Yes, we do have an Immersite primary. We have a primary for everything except copper. So we've done... yeah, everything except copper. So we've done quite well, especially as our copper needs don't seem to have been too high. And all the planets we've gone out to, we've done quite a lot of core mining on. So if I look at... Oh, I need to turn all these back on again now. There we go. And sort by like that again so I can find things. If we go out and look at, I don't know, let's say Talos, just because it's the one I'm most familiar with. If we look over here, we have a lot of core fragments coming in order to make, in this case, the beryllium that we need. And then those core chunks will flow down and they will be pulverized over here. And so we will have a nice healthy supply of iron and copper and rare metals and so on coming. So we have these supplies coming in from all our remote planets, all the ones that are doing core mining, which I think is probably all of them. They're being shipped over in massive quantities and then taken up and taken over to Norvis. And so we're getting a huge amount of copper and iron coming in from those. And that is why I guess we haven't run out of copper. Also, we seem to have a massive backlog of it here, which is of just stuff in general, because this is a red belt feeding it through. That's probably a large part of the reason. And also, we're just not filling... the trains aren't going fast enough, I think. So, were you trying to say something, Mike?
Well, yeah, maybe. I have an idea. So what I've done...
Uh-oh.
What have you done?
I know, I got fed up. So what I've done is I've calculated the length of an edge of the triangle at each of the levels.
Yep, done that.
Okay.
So...
Have you taken some spherical trigonometry into account for this?
I haven't.
No, neither have I. I just got that fed up. I went back to basics.
So we could compare our numbers for that.
Yep.
So level 4, I've got... Go on.
I have the X, Y, and Z distances for it. I don't have the total.
Oh, I've just got a...
Wouldn't the X distance be the length of the side of the triangle?
Not necessarily.
This is...
Oh,
the X, Y, Z.
Yeah, something rotate. Never mind. Yep, carry on.
Yeah.
I know where I went wrong.
I've literally just done linear distance from A to B, where A is one corner of the triangle and B is another corner of the triangle, so it's the length of one side.
Sure.
Okay.
I can calculate those.
In fairness, I have assumed the bottom side, which if they're isosceles rather than equilateral, I think they are equilateral.
So the first one is isosceles, all the rest are equilateral, and I don't know how you fit an equilateral triangle into the isosceles triangle in the first place, but I've sort of glossed over
that'll
that
be your circular trigonometry, I guess.
Yeah, I strictly speaking, equilateral is just a special case of isosceles.
Yes.
Yeah. I do actually have the length measurements as well. I have fields for that because
Excellent.
I had some checks to make sure that my things that should be unit vectors were unit vectors.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And so
the size of the triangle, the top tier, I've got is 5.7 units and some change.
Wait, what?
Or have I?
Of this thing that's on a unit sphere?
I'm one off, so it's 0.71 and change.
Okay, I have 0. Is it that one? Because I've got that. I've got 0.08.
Yeah, not having an Immersite primary is going to make it rather difficult because you do need rather a lot of Immersite, as we've discovered.
Yeah,
and we're digging up quite a lot of it. Do you two want to go off and do this separately rather than just reading out lots of numbers to each other?
Yeah,
probably sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So over here, yes, this is the Immersite primary that we're using. Ooh, that's got a bit laggy. This is the Immersite primary, and yes, I'm rather glad we had one because whilst there's not, yes, quite a lot of it is coming in from Immersite core chunks. You can see we've got 2 not entirely full green belts loading the machines up over here. Why have I lost all of my foots? I don't know. Anyway, we've got 2 not entirely full green belts worth flowing in here, which is quite a lot, to be fair. But we've also got a certain amount of actual imersite ore coming in on this belt. This belt here, which is most of a blue belt. And so both of those, well, you can't get the core chunks at all if you're not on an imersite primary, and you'll struggle to find enough imersite caves to keep a nice flow going like this, again, if you're not on an imersite primary. We were, at one point, thinking of transporting quite a lot of it around from imersite caves we found on other planets. In fact, I think when we originally set up on Taishakutan, we found some imersite caves there, so we started harvesting a bit of it. Let's see if I can find the area where we were doing this. I'll see how much of it's left. Yes, here we go. Down here, we had some imersite caves over here. Then we were bringing the raw imersite over by delivery cannon into this chest, feeding it up, processing it down over here. And part of the reason we were doing this over here was because it produces quite a lot of spare sulfur, and you need a lot of sulfur on your vulcanite planet. So it felt like this was a logical pair of things to put together, but in the end it turned out that the effort required to ship that much imersite over here by delivery cannon was not really practical. And so when we abandoned Taishakutan, we abandoned the idea as well, and we set up on an imersite primary where we were just digging up the imersite and turning it into imersite. Fine, just do it there, and then we'll ship all of the sulfur out from there, and then any spare sulfur we can then ship back from Norbit. Because we've got a reasonably clever system over here, I think, where we have this is so laggy. Where we have the Taras ship here. It'll bring in any sulfur it brings in will be passed down here, where it goes off this way to be fed into all the ships that need it, but also back up this way, where it loops round the back. Does it? No, yeah, okay, it loops around the back here, goes through these warehouses, and is used as a priority over the sulfur that's brought up from down on Norvis in this train, which is theoretically unlimited because we have a good healthy oil and sulfur production down on Norvis, but we want to use the stuff that comes from Taras first because we want to get rid of it, and that's why we have the have the setup you can see along here with the priority splitter. So yeah, you'll struggle a bit with the imersite shortages. You might be okay early on because in the early game you don't need a huge amount of it, so it might not matter too much, and then maybe by the time you start to need it in enormous quantities, you can go off to another solar system and find an imersite primary there. I mean, for that at that point, to get to that point, you can use rockets from other solar systems, but it's horrendously expensive. The best way is to put together a spaceship with a beam receiver on it, or at least in my opinion, the best way is to put together a spaceship with a beam receiver on it, like we've been doing for the Stardust ships, and then they can fly out a nice long distance. They can collect all the imersite, bring it, and then bring just a shipload of imersite and perhaps other waste products back with it. Or the other way to do it is to set up a ship that has its own fuel supply, like this one. You don't have to use matter. You could use nuclear. You could use antimatter. You could use whatever you want. But having ships that can go interstellar is probably the easiest way to get that working. There we go. I finally spotted the hydrate from Venezuelan. Yes, Venezuelan. Whatever, something like that. Anyway, and thanks for the follow as well. Oh dear, Mike's paused it, and he's unpaused it. What's? Now he's just trying to wind us up. So he apologised for the first one and then immediately did it again. There is a guy who does not understand the meaning of the word sorry. Right. What's next? I think I've worked through most of the things I was planning to do. I've checked my posture. My posture is correct. I don't think I need to adjust myself there. What am I looking for? To-do list. There it is. That's a nice idea, Sophia, but I'm afraid to tell you, you're not going to get Arca chests until after you're going to have needed to solve those problems. Arca chests are Deep Space Science 4. We didn't. You can't even do. You have to do Naquium some other way before you do Arca chests, because you need a load of Naquium for Deep Space Science 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So yeah, you can't do that, I'm afraid. At least not without having come up with some really good intermediate solution as well. We're trying, Cobalt. We're doing our best. We'll see if we win. If not, I might have to try and do some of the maths myself and see if anything else. See if I can do it any better. Ooh, 3 Fenestra ships supplying matter. I guess with all of this testing we're doing, we're burning through quite a lot of it.
Yep.
Right. So I've fixed the Talos. I've fixed that Talos. I haven't fixed the third part of Talos. I've done the first Norbit. I've done the second Norbit. All right, let's have a look at the Astro 1 catalogue production, see how that's getting on, because that was a that was a thing that was struggling before, and we've seen it's getting better. We've actually got a supply of, yes, this warehouse is 2/3 full now. That's looking pretty. It's getting healthier. It's getting there, and we've got most of the machines over here running. We've caught up on the astrometric data here. This was the big problem I reckoned before, because this was pulling in all of the data cards that were coming in from up here, and they were just flowing off down this belt down here. So now that that's caught up, it looks like things are pretty good around here. How are these machines? What is the limiting factor? The limiting factor is visible light data, and the limiting factor on that is presumably, yes, it's the number of these things that are coming in. Is there a... What are they being limited by? Are all the telescopes telescoping? Yes, they are. Okay, so the limiting factor along here is straight up. It's just the number of telescopes we've got here, and it's not limiting us too much because the amount we have is going up. Granted, we're not actually trying to use any astroscience at the moment, but as long as we don't do any more of the long-range star mapping researches where we use all 4 of the as long as we don't do any more long-range star mapping researches, because that one uses all 4 of these in parallel, and therefore you get through crazy amounts of, especially the tier 1s, we should be okay. And I don't think we need to do any more of these, because we can get the answers much more easily just straight out of the Stargate, so that's fine. Doing this one, yes, okay, it's going to use 5,000 of the Astro 4, but I think we can keep up with that. Producing those, it isn't so much of a worry. It's the producing the... It's producing all 4 of them in parallel is the terrifying part. Now, looking at this belt, no, it's not quite running flat out. So we do have enough. We have enough of these frames going in just, only just actually. It's running close to flat out, but not actually flat out. So yeah, we do have enough of them going through here. So that's all right. It is not what's causing us to have a... Oh, actually, we saw all the telescopes were working, so there can't be any input shortages, and there can't be any output problems either, because again, all the telescopes are working. So it's just this is what the number of telescopes we have is capable of producing, and I don't really want to put more telescopes in, because then we wouldn't have enough on the input, and we wouldn't have enough room on the output either. So I think this is a pretty good position to be in. As I said, the numbers over here are going up. We're now up to 700 and mumble rather than 600 and mumble.
Laurence,
so things are improving quickly.
Did you notice the Talos Naquium ship?
Oh, it's got stuck on unloading because we've got... Oh, and that's okay because we've got enough Naquium. So
because
cool.
We have enough.
Woo! Enough Naquium.
And we even have the green bottles everywhere.
Awesome. More than 10 green bottles. Nice. Excellent. So So why is science stopped? Oh yes, because energy science, because of the immersite and the because we've got some immersite at the moment. It's been put into the train, but presumably over here we are not making the. We've got a couple of machines making those. Oh, and we ran out of holmium cables. That's a weird one to run out of, because we have a train dedicated to bringing those up. I was hoping that would not be a problem, but apparently it is. How many of those do we use? Is it some silly number? 32. Yes, it is indeed a silly number. Okay, that'll be why I put in a private train, especially for the holmium cables, because we get through 32 of them for every single quantum processor we make. These are really expensive for the quantity we seem to need them in. They are phenomenally expensive, and therefore difficult to keep up with. And we have 2,000 over here. That's nearly half a train. The train. What? Why is it... Hey? Why is this train broke? Why is this train trying to go to Norvis Down and has no path? What the hell? Time for an investigate. So this train is... There's a signal missing. How has that never been a problem before? Is this the new... Yeah, this is the new station we put in, and it's missing a signal. So it's just stolen the train. Fine. I guess we'll put that back in then. And then it'll be okay. Hey, you know what I could do? I could remove that, and then the train will go. No, it won't. That's weird. I thought removing that signal would make the train go, but apparently not. So somehow I copy and pasted a station up here, and somehow didn't get that rail signal. I'm wondering if it's because I put the scaffolding in afterwards and didn't. It's still a bit weird, but oh, well, probably my fault. Yeah, no path to Norvis Down indeed. I think it's because of that missing signal there. Oh, you want to? Yeah, I'm sort of torn with this run. Part of me wants to carry on and fix all the problems, so we have a steady supply of science happening, and we can just sort of plod through some of the infinite sciences just to show that the factory is working. And part of me wants to go off and do something else, basically. I'm not sure how many tries we're on with the Stargate this stream. Oh, everyone has deserted me. You can see over here, it's just me left in the chat. The other three have gone off to plot and think about Stargates. Yeah, I mean it's sort of the factory kind of works. Oh, it's still no path. Oh no, it's not. There we go. It's found its way out now. The factory kind of works, but it's really limping along, and every single stream we're finding something else that's broken and fixing it so the factory will work for long enough to get the next science pack done, and then we have to fix something else to make it work for long enough to get the next bit done, and so on. So yes, technically the factory has worked well enough for us to finish the game. I can say that because we have made it work well enough to finish the game, even if we haven't actually finished it yet. It's not the factory's fault at the moment. But it's not running smoothly, I guess. Oh, audio desync. Okay, I'll sort that. Nope. There we go. Normal service should now be resumed. Yeah, the tries. It's an interesting idea. I like the idea of giving lots and lots of different mods a try and investigating and that sort of thing. I really do like the idea, but how long do you have to play a mod for in order to be given it a fair investigate? Something like I don't know. It took us what was it, 4 or 5 supporter streams with typically at least 4 to 6 people playing to get through Factorio, for example. Whistle Stop would probably be a little bit quicker. Hypercube would probably take quite a lot longer. Yeah, so I like the idea, but unless they're very, very small mods, I mean, if it was go off and have a look at Project CyberSyn, then that's something I probably could do. I could easily do in a single stream, certainly. UltraCube, sorry, that's one. UltraCube, yes. Yeah, but then I think something like Project CyberSyn would be better as a video because I could spend the time actually working out how it works rather than trying to talk about what I'm thinking, and then produce a video afterwards saying this is what I found, this is what I did. But doing it as videos rather than streams could be quite a good way of doing it, which is one of the things you suggested. To be fair, there is another thing I plan to do. I plan to do a My First Factory run with my sister-in-law, who's never played Factorio before, but is sort of at least vaguely curious. So I'm thinking that potentially that could be interesting. I'm sort of tempted to wait until Friday. On Friday, that apparently there's going to be an announcement of the release date for Factorio 2.0. So they've said previously it was no earlier than August. So if they say it'll be released on August the 1st, then there's not going to be much time for me to go off and do something else. But if they say, okay, we've had a few problems, it's going to be November, then there's time to get in a sort of a decent vanilla stream with somebody who's never played it before, with a decent chance of actually finishing the game. So that could have some potential. we'll have to see, I think, and I think quite a lot of it may well depend on Friday's announcement. I think. Okay, there was definitely a no earlier than August at one point, and if you Google, it says there has been suggestions about something to do with August. I have definitely heard October somewhere as well. I don't know. Basically, we will see. But yes, we will. They announced in last Friday's Friday Factorio Facts. They said they have a release date. Haha, and we're going to tell you next week. Basically, so yeah, so on Friday we should find out something about it. Well, maybe, yeah. Software always slips. That's the way it is. I imagine that the Factorio 2.0 we're getting is a lot more ambitious than the Factorio 2.0 they were planning in October in 2021. Hang on, in 2021 had Factorio 1.0 even been released? When did that come out? I don't remember. They're still scanning things with the Stargate. Wonder what they're doing. Okay, they're just sort of... Alright, so they've thought, we think there's going to be this triangle here, so they're testing to see if that's actually right. Fair enough. Hope they're finding useful stuff. Okay, 2020, alright. Announcements at Q4 2024, so that would mean no earlier than October. Well, there was definitely suggestions of August at one point. However, I think it was a no earlier than type suggestion. So they expect it to slip a bit from their prediction. So we shall see. But yeah, there may well be an opportunity for my first Factorio stream in there as well. And I'm probably not going to make videos from that, which should in theory then mean I will have time to make other videos and maybe, you know, occasionally do other things with my life and perhaps get some early nights, you know, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, potentially actually getting my head round one of the calculator mods would be a good idea. I mean, I've generally never felt the need to use them. My building style is usually just to go, I don't really care, I'm just going to chuck down a load of machines, and if they're not fast enough then I'll put in some more. And that usually works pretty well. Although for the big things like the like producing the resources, like this, my vulcanite production systems. Now the ratios are all out on these because I've upgraded all the modules in them. So they were right when it was all tier 3 all the way through, but they were built empirically. So I would build something in the blueprint editor and go, yep, that's dealing with a full input belt. Let's put in some output belts and then put in the next stage. Yep, that's dealing with a full belt coming into it. Let's put in the next stage and so on. Which it's not the nicest way of doing it, but it works well enough. In vanilla, I just do the numbers in my head because they're easy enough. But in space exploration, it gets a little bit more difficult, especially once you start putting modules in. So yeah, maybe I'll have a look at some rate calculators. I'll try and remember to put out some sort of request for suggestions on the in the Discord server. So yeah, let me know your suggestions over there because I'm afraid I won't be writing them down from here because I'm trying to do a stream. Yeah, on the one hand, using the calculator to tell you exactly what you need to be putting in, I'm not going to say it feels like cheating, but it does feel like it's sort of simplifying it a little bit. But then on the other hand, how many hands have I got? I don't know. It is just doing the maths for you, which I'm then just sort of empiricising afterwards. So which is also a bit naff as well. I should probably either work it out properly, or I should just let the computer do it, and you know that's what computers are for. So. I probably should. It's just I think back in the day I had a look at one or two of the calculator mods and just hated the interfaces for them. None of them seemed to be nice to use, and so at that point I sort of stopped. I think I stopped trying and got into the habit of just building my builds somewhat empirically. Yeah, so you'd struggle a bit with space exploration. I've also just noticed how much of a shortage of sulfur we have coming through here as well for making the vulcanite. I don't think it's a problem because we have enough vulcanite TM, as you can tell by the way these belts have stopped now. But that's just down to these belts along here not having been upgraded properly when I went in and did the upgrade. I forgot about sulfur as being a thing I would need more of. Even though over here we've got a lot of extra machines, more machines making it than we actually need, given that it's just filling a blue belt. That's a bit crap. Okay. Okay, so that's a sort of a halfway in between. So you build, you throw together something, and then rather than waiting for it to feed a load of stuff through to see whether it's running fast enough, you just drag it across. That could be better, yeah. Yeah, I do think it's probably worth me having a look at these things because I am aware that they are better, and it would be a good idea to sort of get used to them, especially if I'm going to play more stuff in the future. So, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I would want to use it on something about of this sort of size. I think, Sophia. So yeah, wouldn't be the entire to get the entire factory, but I'd want to say yeah. I think what Mark is talking about as well is just getting the numbers for taking in vulcanite ore and bringing out vulcanite cubes or possibly vulcanite enriched vulcanites and seeing what rate. Yeah, how many machines you need, what belts you need, and what level. Yeah, what levels of throughput you'd have. So that seems reasonable, not unreasonable. Yeah, seems not unreasonable. There's some good English there. It seems both reasonable and not unreasonable. Control N takes me back to Norbit apparently, and then back to Taishikuten. Yeah, exactly, VCU. That's what I'm thinking. So it's a thing that I've sort of never looked into because I tried it originally, didn't like the mods, and just got used to doing it manually. And then it's mostly stubbornness, if I'm being honest. I just sort of thought it's fine, it works, I don't care. Shut up, basically. But no, it's something I should look into. I don't disagree. Yeah. Ooh. I think we have a full spaceship. I think we have just a completely full system because yes, we've jammed up here, and presumably if I now go back and have another look in Norbit, we will find that the Vulcanite spaceship is parked. Yes, there. Oh, it's parked because it's trying to fill up with water ice. Why is there a shortage of ice? Of all things, that's just cryonite and water. The hell? Okay. That's it. That's not where I wanted to go. That's a surprise. Let's find out why do we have no water ice? Well, firstly, actually, which one is the spaceport resupply train? It is by no premium spaceship. Oh, that would be why we've run out then. Oh, and we've just been working through a backlog of it. Ah. Oh. Mark, are you paving the world again? No wonder my UPS is struggling. Jeez. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. And we finally just used up all of the ice that we had available and buffers. Let's send this train off now, even though it's only half full. We could take that. So when I was complaining earlier about how my UPS had or how my FUPS had dropped down to approximately nothing, was that because you just put down a massive blueprint of stone? Okay. Apparently, chat can't hear you, which is maybe a good thing. I don't know. Let's have a look over here. No, that's... You should be able to. That's Discord, and it's... Oh, hang on. No, it's not. No, you shouldn't be able to. Let's connect them back over to here. There we go. Could you say something, please, Mark?
Please.
Close enough. Hopefully you'll be able to hear him again now. There we go.
All my valuable content the whole time.
Yeah, just bricking it and destroying my FUPs.
So did they hear the others earlier?
Yeah, it was working. I think it was because I suspect when you all dropped out of chat, it lost it. It sort of forgot it forgot that was a thing.
Probably.
And disconnected it from the extra sound card. I don't know why it doesn't do it a bit more automatically, but it apparently doesn't. Yeah, so yes, you were all fully audible originally, but when you all went off to hide and stopped wanting to talk to me, then when you came back, it decided it didn't like you anymore. That program is called QPW Graph, Kid. It's a program that basically allows me to connect all my sound inputs and outputs together in a nice, neat graphical way. It is a Linux program, so you probably, if you're not using Linux, it probably won't be applicable to you. I don't know what the Windows equivalent would be. No, not the desync. Right, so that'll get us the ice flowing again, if this pipe ever arrives. It's well inside a construction area, so it should turn up at some point. Probably pipes are just turning up from a million miles. Oh, there's a water pump down here that doesn't have power. That will also cause problems for the generation of ice. Can I put you in there? Yes, but it won't help. Can I put you there? No. Put you there, and then put one of these in there. There we go. Yeah, installing Linux is always the best. Is always the best alternative to Windows. I don't know if Mike and Tristan are paying any attention at all to anything. They've probably just gone to bed. And I can see them in an alternative Discord in the side. There is another voice channel in the Discord server called Side Plotting, which they're currently in, and Tristan is streaming at the moment, so goodness knows what they're doing. But maybe they'll get there eventually.
So what I got from my 5 seconds joining them was that at least Tristan assumed that the basically two triangles on the sphere have the same corners or are mirrored or something, and basically this is what they are currently doing, probably to prove that that's not the case. So they have to change their math a bit.
And the two triangles will definitely join at a corner, yes. However, with our understanding of the way that the glyphs take you down into a location, you will never be able to get all the way into a corner.
Yeah, two triangles on the opposite side, that they are mirrored, or they have, I don't know how to say it, but so the corners are basically on the same points, but on the opposite side, but they could be flipped or something.
Oh, I see. So on the complete opposite side of the sphere.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes some sense. The ice train hasn't come back again. I guess it's just a long way, and it's probably not been boosted. So it's just. I can find out actually. I can just click on the station.
It is at the drop station.
Yes. I only discovered that button fairly recently. If you have a train's window open, you can click on this map button up here, and it will open. It will zoom to that. It'll pan the map to wherever the train is, just like that. So you can then zoom in and actually find the train you're looking for. It took me. I only found out about that within the last month, I think, and I spent quite a lot of time trying to find trains before that. So this is a big improvement. Oh, it's nearly empty. There we go. And now, yes, we have that supply of ice coming up the belts along here. And along here, where is the one that's going up to the spaceport? I don't know. I think it was this one. Yes, it was. So we need to wait for the ice to come pouring up this belt here. Oh, here it comes. I say pouring. It's a blue belt, which is relatively slow because we're running at 30 ups and 17 FUPs most of the time. So thanks to Marc. But eventually it'll get along here, and we can start loading that train up and ship all the ice out, so we'll have some, which would be nice. Some is an amount of ice that we would like to have. I don't know. I'm not sure which is more
produced
important.
again?
Mark's need to pave the world, or my need to have more than 20 FPS.
I mean, I just wanted to have a nice looking base for when you do the summary video.
There goes a load of material science stuff. Alright, I'm in a weird position where I'm not quite sure what the next thing I should be doing is, because we're so close to the end of the game. It is just going around and tinkering with the edge cases. Now over here we're still producing the quantum processors, so that's quite nice. The train has now that I've freed the train up and released it from its torment, it is able to come over here and actually get some quantum processors. It's waiting till it's got at least 500 of them, which is going to be a little while. And then hopefully it'll take them to... Where was it? Oh yes, it was up here. This was the place. This was the place was specific. I had specifically noticed was short of them. Oh, but they actually has some now. So we are now making Energy Science 4. Excellent. So that's working. We're chucking them through down the belt here, and oh, we've actually got a decent, healthy number of them. We've been making those faster than we're using them. Are we actually sciencing at the moment? No, we're not. What have we run out of this time? It's oh yeah, there we go. Advanced Science 2. Is there an easily fixable problem here, or is this something that's a bit more severe and we're just going to have to accept that this is the rate we produce it at? No, we're going to have to accept that this is just the rate we produce it at because we only have 3 machines. Well, I could put speed modules in them, I suppose. What do you use to make those, and do we have plenty of all of it? It kind of feels like we do. Let's put some speed modules in these just for fun. Significant data is an interesting one. We'll go and have a look at that in a minute because yes, you're right. It's really struggling. Yeah, that needs some work, but it is an interesting one. So module inserters. What are these? These are the advanced. What are they called? Advanced research servers. That is a just research server. I don't think I have advanced. What are you? Oh yes, I do have advanced. Yeah, all right. Let's check it full of speed module 3s. So we'll do that. Boink. Bring some of those over. That'll get that running a bit quicker. And you're right, the significant data is struggling a lot all of a sudden. So I commented in the video that there was some... that it looked like it was struggling a little bit, but it seemed to be hanging on. Now it is definitely not hanging on. We are straight up running out of it. And the problem is, as you can see down here, that we're not using all of the machines because there's so many blank data cards coming out that we can't get rid of them all fast enough. That we can't empty these machines, and these machines aren't running. So I was thinking a good way to fix this is going to be to put in one of those there, and then that. So we're now going to put them onto both sides of the belt up here. We're going to need some bots to come over and get this to build this up. So it's going to be a bit difficult until then. Oh no, it's not. We're just going to chuck them all down the waste chute. That's potentially problematic. I hope that doesn't cause problems. Let's rotate that belt so that it stops happening for a moment. Okay, so this is going to make, as usual, the fix is going to make the problem worse for at least for a moment or two. But once I can then start putting these on both sides of the belt, I can then do a little bit of more of an upgrade through the middle of here, and we can get these data cards to come out on a deep space belt all the way through, and potentially fill this one up, and then we'll have a lot more capacity to take the blank data cards away, which will mean we'll be able to take the significant data away a bit faster as well, and hopefully things will all be at least a bit better. And if it's still too slow, then I'll put in more machines along, more computers along here, and more of this, just to get the whole system running a bit quicker. So right, oh no, we're mostly there now. I'll put that one back, and there we go. So now we can flow all of that through there, and I think if I upgrade all of that. Oh no, we can't upgrade. We have to do we have to do this because there are different types of deep space belt. If I do that, then it'll upgrade all the way through there. We'll get I'll get them running through, flowing through faster, and filling this belt up. And yeah, those will go off to the same places. So we'll have plenty of. We'll be able to take those through to wherever they were needed. That should be absolutely fine. But this means that once it gets upgraded, we'll be able to deal with all of these spare blank data cards, and therefore more of these significant datas will come out, and everything should be a little bit better. At the moment, we are just back in the same position we were in before, so it's exactly the same as it was. However, once this upgrade comes through, things should get a lot better. Things can only get better, as they keep singing. In the meantime, let's put down some more scaffolding over here, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to extend this. Do we have a robot port? Yes, we have a robot port there, so that's going to give me a decent amount of coverage out that way. Excellent. Eventually, the robots will come over and upgrade that belt, but who knows when. Ooh, laggy. But when they do, yeah, as I say, we'll get a decent amount more throughput coming through here, and things will be better. In fact, you know what? I'm also going to upgrade this belt, because we've got plenty of deep space belts now, and I'm going to, and if we're going to be pumping a lot more through, then we're going to want a faster belt for more of this distance. So, here come some bots. They're all getting a bit distracted on the way down, though. Here come some more. They look like they've got deep space belt stuff with them, so that's promising. It's probably just going to be the 2 pieces of belt in the middle. Yes, it is. That's less helpful. Come on, bots, bring over these splitters. That's what I want at the moment. The scaffolding must have just come from somewhere a lot closer. To be honest, if it's side-loaded later, I don't care too much. I mostly just want to have a larger buffer available on this belt, because we split off some of the... When we have too many blank data cards, we send them off down here to get rid of them, because this system, I believe, produces more blank data cards than we need up here for everything that uses them, which is mostly just for producing insights. But I want to make sure we don't pass them off down here when we kind of actually needed them, which is why I'm doing the upgrade. Oh, there we go. So now that's flowing much more effectively, much faster, and we should be able to then empty all these machines out and get them running again, which would be rather nice. Hello, welcome back.
Hello, hi, how's it going?
Yeah, not bad. I've been just following through the chains of why are things slow in the science area, and then making some upgrades.
No worries. We've had a long and
painful.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a interesting conversation.
Yeah.
We both have made a simple mathematical error. We've made different errors.
Okay.
So Sophia says, "Tell us how you failed."
How did you noob it?
My failure was you've got a triangle, and the 3 corners of the triangle have definite points, and I just experimentally said, I go to the edge and read that off. It wasn't quite there, so my triangle was slightly shrunk, which means that a couple of my outputs were just on the other side of the line. And so I misread them. Tristan, do you want to say what yours was?
So each of the triangles has obviously the 3 points, and we decided that the top point was the center of the pentagon, and turns out if you get the other 2 points the wrong way round, then your calculations don't work.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I can see how if you got one of your points wrong, then it would fail.
Yep.
Okay.
So having worked that out, we know what we need to do now. In that we've calculated. Well, we worked through it together, and we're now happy that we've got a matching model. So we're just going through and reading off, because it's still, here is a giant triangle with 64 symbols on it. Get your ruler out and measure how far along it is, and then read off the symbol. So we're both just going through that process again.
Ah, so this is the problem I was talking about. Sorry, this is why we want to make sure there's a decent number. Oh.
We'll be back with you in a few minutes when we've finished reading.
Okay, well, good luck. That's interesting. This is not doing what I thought it did. I thought this was a disposal belt. This is not a disposal belt. This is the feed of blank data cards that comes down to the Astro Insight production. Huh.
Have you been putting things on the wrong belts?
So where was the overflow going? So we're taking out blank data cards.
Further out.
Oh no, it's this one here that goes underneath here. That's the overflow. Right. So actually this shouldn't be prioritized, because we want those to go both ways. Yeah, this one needs to be prioritized. Yeah, so this one under here is the disposal chute. This one is the one that goes off to making the astroscience. Right, there we go. So that should now... Well, we should start getting some astro insights coming up here, is basically what I'm trying to say. Oops. But on the plus side, we were very briefly rate limited on the significant data by significant data being full, rather than the byproduct data cards being full. So this extra space that we've got out here to chuck them into has helped quite a lot. Mostly, but actually, it's not so much the extra space we've got to put them into. It's the extra speed they can be chucked through along here that's the most important, because we can get rid of them faster. But we can also do that without losing any until we've got a decent buffer up here and potentially down here. So, yeah.
I'm getting more upside down ones this time, Mike.
Is that a good sign?
I've got about 4, maybe 5. Excuse me. I've redone the thing. I've cheated is definitely not the wrong word. I'm using tool assistance. I've used the solver add-in to Excel because I didn't want to run a highly complicated mathematical algorithm by hand, and it's moved me along 1 cell in the smallest triangle.
Oh, so you found a new solution there's one tiniest triangle off from the previous solution you had.
Yes.
I thought you okay. I thought you were the solution. Oh no, you had a solution that was quite close, didn't you? So.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, it's then how I read it off the lines.
Does it match Tristan's solution?
I don't know. I haven't got that yet.
Okay.
It's still reading.
Fair enough.
Yes, the solver function in Excel, I can wholeheartedly recommend it. It's quite powerful.
Oh, that's
I could have put
almost
beacon,
inside, but just outside.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Right.
So that means you're looking at the wrong triangle, does it? To sort of understand what you mean by just outside. Right.
Was that the second one by any chance?
No, it was the 7th one.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see that one. Oh, yeah, that's going to be great.
Oh, second one is really close to the edge as well.
Yeah, it is.
So the third one's pretty close.
I think Sophia is suggesting that we should wait until you two actually agree on your solutions before we try another one. Although I might have
that's not going to happen.
Oh dear.
The problem fundamentally is because we're using slightly different methods, and you get to it, and we wouldn't suggest these solutions if we didn't have a reasonable amount of faith in them.
Yeah. But if you both suggested, I suppose yes. If you both suggested different solutions, then there's 2 ways to find out whether it's right or not. One is to go through an enormous amount of effort of recalculating everything, and the other is to just try it and find out if one of you was right. Because if you haven't made a mistake, it'll be extremely annoying to go through and see if you've made a mistake when it's actually the other person who's made the mistake.
Yeah, and there does come a point where the maths just is painful to do.
Yeah, no, I can believe that.
And in fairness, what I should really have done, and Tristan should have done the same, we're both using spreadsheets, we should really have just cracked out some Java or Python or pick your language.
MATLAB.
MATLAB is surprisingly good for this kind of thing, actually.
Is that different to MATLAB?
It's the German version.
Yeah.
Pronunciation, but yeah. MATLAB is actually perfect for this, I think.
Yeah. So Sophia has suggested that we, once we've solved it, we should make a calculator to share with the world to allow other people to solve it for their seeds as well.
Sorry, say again.
You were breaking up a lot.
Sophia has suggested that we should produce a calculator to allow other people to also solve the puzzle.
What on? I'm getting the headaches.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I suppose I'm definitely going to produce a video that will be a tutorial on how to get to the solution, even if it won't be a thing you can just plug the numbers into. So I'll tell people how to do it, like I did with the Arcospheres.
I was saying this to Tristan a moment ago when we were off in the side chat. For me, the irritating thing here is that mathematically, what we're doing is not hard. It's just that the data is not entirely available. And that makes it hard. If you gave me the exact coordinates for each of the corners of the triangle, we'd be done by now. That's the problem. And same for Tristan, you gave him the same data, we'd be done by now. The problem is that you've got to go and find that data, which you can only do experimentally, and then it's not quite right. So my triangle's too small. Tristan's was left, right flipped.
Given that you now know about how the structure of the triangles and the sphere and so on, could you with that if you had perfect knowledge of how the system works, could you then go in and produce the basically if you were given another different set of data from another space exploration playthrough, could you go through and get the right answer first time? Well, we actually can't. We don't even know if you've got the right answer this time yet. But
presuming we got the right answer this time, I want to script it. But yes, I could write a script where you genuinely just put in your target vector and it spits out the answer. And
your which glyphs match up as well. You'd need, I think.
That is the answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so assuming that the glyphs don't change.
Which triangle glyph matches to which circle glyph?
Yeah,
because that could be different.
All of the input data, yes, it would spit out the answer.
I might have to find somebody else who's been playing space exploration and to quite a late level and find out what's different between different runs because.
Oh, the glyphs are generated.
So you mean they're
the things we find in the pyramids as generated?
Okay.
Well, when you say it's generated, do you mean it's
per seed?
Okay, fair enough. So
so it's different in every game.
Okay,
yep.
So that triangle map that Laurence put up in the, I think it was part.
Yeah, that's only valid for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Fine. In that case, yeah, you would need to find a. That's what I mean. You need to find a way to try and express that in the system. So
that'd be the tricky part.
Loading the glyph names in order.
Okay, we have a disagreement. Visu says that the glyph's layout doesn't change, only the target vector.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So we would have.
Read that somewhere.
Given we have a disagreement, I would have to find another game that someone else has been playing. Maybe Cobalt would be happy to share once she starts getting out to pyramids and things. If we look at 3 or 4 pyramids and they're exactly the same inside, then we can jump to one conclusion and so on for others. Or to grab it from someone else. Yeah.
In fairness, for the sake of not making it too easy, you could make it so you have to put in the data in the right format. Otherwise, the solver doesn't work.
Yeah, so it's just missing the position, missing all the glyphs that go together.
Yeah. So you've got to pair it all off to.
I have coordinates now, by the way, Mike.
I was busy talking. Yeah.
Perish a thought.
It's. Do you still have this? Do you have the same one that I had in the last attempt in the second position?
Discord would be the place to share anything with you, but I'd be more interested. I think a save game would probably be more appropriate, but we'll see.
No.
Yeah, or regular can go off and look at some pyramids. If you could do some screenshots of pyramids would be great. That would allow us to compare them out of curiosity.
Oh, not your latest one.
No, the one that we actually did. So rather than the one, can we try this?
Yes.
How are we getting on here?
Yeah, you have that one. Yeah, excellent.
Now we're short of energy science again. I mean, it's dribbling through, but only just.
I was looking at the third glyph.
Sorry, say again.
I was looking at the third glyph rather than the second one initially.
Okay.
That's the second one. I haven't got the first one listed because it's.
I do understand that. You know that we're both getting a little fed up with it. We're just like, you know what? I know what that is. I'm not writing it down.
It's not calculated in the same method.
True. And in fairness, if you look at my spreadsheet, it does start at 2 and go from 2 to 8.
Have these picked up some? No, they're all fine. Why is this not? What? There's nothing coming out here because. Oh, we've got a shortage of energy science. Oh, energy science 2. Right. Okay. And we've got a shortage of that. Oh, holmium cable has run out. Right. Okay. I've now found the problems. Let's go and find out why we don't have any holmium cable available. There's a load here waiting to be put into the train that goes there. I think that's probably the right train. It's probably just that we've churned through so much of it that we don't have any left. I don't think there's any supply issues. No, I mean we're filling up the warehouse over here. It's not got a huge amount in there, but it's got enough to keep the train happy. So I think we must have just churned through so much holmium cable. The train is struggling to keep up. And here comes the next train load of it. So I wonder, does this mean I should be tweaking some of the numbers in here? maybe turning some more of these into holmium cable. Well, it's emptied out all of the other things. So, But the cable does seem to be the one that goes down the fastest. Yeah, we'll see how it gets on. We've got that flowing in here now, so that should mean we'll be able to make the tier 2s. Here they come, which means we'll be able to make the tier 3s. Nom, 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 nom. Ooh, grab, slow grab. There we go. Ah, thank you, VC. I'll take a look after the stream. And then these can hopefully these will be able to make some tier 3s like that. Unload. Pass them over here, and we can start making the tier 4s. Good. Okay, so the system is basically working. We just ran out of cables. That is often going to be the case, apparently. Okay, that's all right. We don't mind. We don't mind if we run. We don't mind running out a little bit as long as the basic system is working.
Tristan, if I say, do you have the Mark of Zorro in position 6?
I'm on position 4 now, actually, translating them.
Is the Mark of Zorro not just a Z?
Listen, when you try and cut the Z with a sword, it gets a little bit janky, all right?
Okay, so it's a slightly flamboyant Z. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you say position 6?
Yes. I don't know. Have I done that? Let me just double check that a second, sorry. Is that under or is that over? The other problem I've got is I'm treating these as pairs, which means that they need to work out which two I'm looking at.
I don't see the...
Is Mike overcomplicating things?
Possibly, for the sake of a filthy hack. That one that I just sent to you.
Complicated filthy hack. Lovely. If I could copy paste these, maybe I can't copy paste because they're selected or something.
I don't have that one anywhere.
Oh yeah, I've come across the drawing, doing Zs with a line across them. I think I'd come across it as being certainly a continental thing, whether it's German or other continentals. I'm not certain, but yeah, that does sound very familiar. Why doesn't this copy paste work? I'm sure it's supposed to. I don't really want to have to do the whole thing like this because it'll take forever. Oh, and I'll accidentally close it and then lose everything I'm doing. Yeah, now it's working. What? Why did it work then but not before? I don't understand. This is not where I want to be. This is where I want to be.
Yeah, I have descriptions for my 8. Deal with them.
Especially like number 3.
How else would you describe that?
Yeah, a lot of them are hard to describe, I've noticed.
Yeah, 2 backward C's spooning. Trying to work out which one you actually mean there.
Yeah, it's working now. Maybe no, I can't have been in map mode rather than navsat mode because then it wouldn't have worked at all. I wouldn't have been able to open the wagon at all. So, I don't know. It is a mystery. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for 500 quantum processors. Okay, that's going to be a while.
That one? Okay.
I've not come across the Q with a dash on the bit below the line, but I have seen the... drawing a 1 with a line across it as well is a... 7 with a line across it because you draw the wand with a big, massive hook on the top of them. That's definitely a European thing. And there are some people who draw a Z as a sort of a weird 3 type thing. I've never been able to entirely understand why. But, or 20 seconds. Okay, the 20 seconds of inactivity is not going to happen because we are actually making quantum processors, albeit rather slowly. What are we short of this time? Oh, it's the holmium cables again. Everything is just short of holmium cables, it seems.
What have you done to my holmium while I've been away?
Used it all. Although when I looked down on Norvis, there was a decent amount in the of holmium cable in the warehouse over here.
Yes,
it's 2/3 full. There's plenty of holmium cable down there. It's just not being carried around fast enough because everybody uses it at such a rate.
Yeah, there's loads in Norbit.
In certain places in Norbit, yes.
Yeah. There's loads of holmium in Norbit, I mean.
Oh, holmium. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, not my problem.
No, it's a logistics thing. It's the actually it's a quantum processors thing. The quantum processors use 32 holmium for 32 holmium cable and 32 holmium plates. But that's easier because it comes in as ingots for every single cable, and that's ridiculous.
It is a bit.
We have very different.
Yeah, the time-based failsafes are sort of useful, except sometimes you end up with a train just running around completely unnecessarily. But given that this one is also supposed to be taking the holmium cable and solenoids over to the science area, it's probably worth it running a little bit extra than it otherwise would.
So we don't agree.
We don't agree. That's correct.
That sounds pretty standard.
We agree on the first glyph.
That's a start.
I think that's literally it.
You did say the second glyph was quite. The point was quite close to the edge of the first triangle.
Yes.
So
we are. Are we on that edge? So that's the right corner for me. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how my graphs work for that. Which way round they are.
In fairness, it's the third glyph is the one that I wanted. Yeah, third glyph is the one that I'm most concerned about. It's quite middle line. So it's possible that it's. Hang on, where's my thing? There it is. That's over or under.
yes, I agree, Wes. Wes? Yes, Wes. We've had that sort of problem with quite a few of these trains. So we have a train, for example, we'll pull in here that brings
Possibly
up most of the resources that are required for this whole production area. And yes, those sometimes if we're not requesting enough stuff, so the train doesn't fill up, then we can run out of a thing up here, and but the train still won't come up. And the way we've worked around that, rather than having a time-based thing, is we have a signal. We'll go for some places we haven't implemented it for this particular one, which maybe we should have done. We have a signal that gets sent down when there is 0 of anything, because then that triggers when there's 0 of anything in stock up here, and that triggers the train to leave immediately and come up and drop off. Now that's great until you have a resource shortage of that particular thing, because then the train goes, well, I haven't got any of that thing, but I'll come up, and then unloads, and there's still none of it there because there wasn't any on the train. It goes back down again, it tries to fill up, it doesn't pick anything up, and it still gets the signal saying, hey, we've run out of blue circuits or whatever it is, and then so the train then comes up like this and unloads, and it just goes round and round in circles, never transporting anything, because you never have any of the whatever the thing is, which is why it's quite important to try and keep your supplies sufficient, and then work forwards through, which of course never happens. You build up the things that require stuff, like you put in another science lab or you do another science pack or something like that, and then you realise that you've run out of everything that's supposed to go into it. VCU is giving you spoilers as to how far you're getting through the triangle system. It's up to you whether you want to read them or not. Yeah, I was going to say it's usually rule 2 that happens for me, and rule 3.
This is
the triggered by rule 2.
Yeah, the thread 8 was correct. That's we did that calculation slightly different way, but basically came to the idea that, for me at least, the glyph in the 4th position was incorrect, which would be the first 3 correct. Tristan suggested that we do a poll asking people whether they want to see my solution or his solution first. Or was the third one Lawrence's solution?
No, I haven't come up with a solution yet. Oh, I see.
Your improv's good then.
Rule 34 for Factorio, I think, involves going onto Reddit and looking up the user hide bore.
Okay, I'm just going to put in the 2 that we've actually done. Okay, poll is live. 3 minutes. Whose solution should we try first? Tristan's or mine?
Bum bum bum.
Tristan takes the early lead.
Are you going to try and pick the one that you think is more likely to be correct or less likely to be correct?
I know Sophia's going to vote for the one he thinks is less likely to be correct because he wants to keep going for ages.
Yeah. And he does keep saying he's on Team Mike, so that's fair.
Yeah, whatever we think is more right. To be honest, I don't know.
We should come to a consensus. Well, that's never going to happen. We don't do that here. .gif.
We can mostly agree what data we're missing. That we would need to solve the issue.
Laurence, you might want to have a look at the water ice production graph.
I might want to learn to spell water. There we go.
I like the Westu's comment. There are 3 ways to play Factorio: his way, the wrong way, and whatever abomination you call what you did. I like the implications there that what we've done is not wrong.
Abomination is always the way to go. Just ask the Hulk.
Yeah, Abomination is not the way to go when you read some of the later Dune books.
That is quite an impressive spike in the water ice production. It's gone from producing maybe 800, and I don't know where that was coming from, given we've broken it.
I think these are different places where we produce water ice as well,
presumably.
on some planets or something.
And now it's spiked wildly up to 5.6 thousand per minute. Sorry, no, it hasn't. It spiked up to 9,000 per minute. 9.1 thousand per minute. Jeez. Yep, that's quite an improvement, and hopefully that'll be enough to keep us running. And if we look over at amount used in time, we seem to be using about 408 per minute, so we're only producing it at 20 times the rate we need it. Yeah, that'll probably be all right. Also, for some reason, when you search for water ice, you also get interstellar travel data. Good. That is indeed a nice spike.
I regret letting people vote multiple times. That's all I'm saying. Thanks, Sophia. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Can we see the solution, the results in a little bit more detail?
No,
I can just I only have the option to report the poll.
I think you can. Just trying to remember how now.
Oh. Mike seems to have won, so therefore we'll blame him if it fails.
Did I terminate that early by accident?
It has stopped, so
I mean,
I'm going to guess yes.
It was about time to end.
Sophia, it says Sophia has contributed 3,700 channel points. That suggests he was the vote early, vote often.
That's 37 votes.
Well, assuming they all went to the same person and he wasn't just voting for both of you to spread chaos, I think we know which way he was voting.
So, I mean, I see Tristan started. I mean, it's 40 to 18.
I mean, I've currently put 1 glyph in, so that could be either of us.
That's a start, I suppose. Still have the production and utility science pack production running merrily over here. I guess we're getting through a fair chunk of that as well. It seems to be flowing quite readily. Are we making it fast enough? Okay, we're making the red ones fast enough. The turquoise ones seem to be. Oh no, they're not. I don't know. There's a quantity available on the belt still. That might just be that a train came in, schlurped up a load of them, and now we're refilling the buffer. I'm going to choose to believe that was what it was. Yeah, I'll go and look at. It's going to take Tristan 10 minutes to program the gate up, so don't worry. I will go over and look at it before it gets turned on.
Yeah, I won't start it until I've mentioned it.
Yeah,
I'm about to put it in the 4th one.
Oh, now it's the advanced science pack that are struggling again. Because I came along, put speed modules in, so that overloaded it. Oh, and we've used up all of these ones.
Before you... Never mind.
Oh, that's running. But hang on, what?
You can't change it now.
Have I... What?
Oh, this one.
It's all Sophia's fault, it's fine.
It's quantum processors again. It's always quantum processors.
That's also Sophia's fault.
Damn it, Sophia. Why are you eating all our quantum processors? I've discovered that my FPS problems are all down to Marc, though. That's Mark's
Because he's
fault.
making so much ice.
No, because he's paving the world again.
Oh.
And yeah,
I mean, it's potentially the last stream for me to do that. So
you can do it. You can pave the world on your own time.
only 200,000 stone left.
Oh God. No, it's not. It's not fine, Sophia. They are needed. Actually, no, we haven't got any in the train down here. They're needed to. The quantum processors are needed over here, in order to make that particular data card, which means that, and then they're needed over here to make the advanced science pack 1s, and then they're needed, which are needed to make the advanced science pack 2s, which are needed to finish off the factory spaceship 6 research that we've been trying to do all stream. Yes, the train hasn't left because there aren't any quantum processors. We need the quantum processors to be brought into these warehouses here, in order to be put into these computers, in order to make the quantum data card things.
It is ready.
Oh. Yes, if you
I
don't.
put the penultimate glyph in, and the last glyph is in the right place already.
Yeah, if you don't stop paving the world, Mark, I'm going to have to ask Tristan to slow the game speed down even further, and you don't want that. Do
Okay,
you?
I'll stop.
Right, here we go.
Wop, 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 wop. Yes, pave the world at 15 UPS. That sounds like a great idea.
At what point do I point out to Tristan he's got a typo?
Oh, if you send me the wrong set.
Fighters.
Not it.
I have tried. I have tried Dyson Sphere program, Wes. If you check back a few, how long ago was it?
Like a year.
Yeah, probably about a year, because I've been playing Satisfactory for about 6 months, and I was probably playing XCOM 2 for about 6 months before that. And I ran through DSP before that and played until I got to the I played DSP until I had a DS, and then and that was that was my that and doing all the research, and yeah, I quite enjoyed it. The biggest problem I had with it was that all my muscle memory was wrong, and I kept trying to use Factorio shortcuts. But I did quite enjoy making some horrendous 3D belt spaghetti. Satisfactory, I feel, it does the 3D stuff that DSP was doing a bit better. However, Satisfactory's world is a bit. I don't know how I feel about it, because it's also very, very handcrafted. It's very pretty, but.
Maybe you should do better math, because we are running out of matter.
Again. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, we only have about 7 goes left before we run out from what we've got over here.
No, I mean on Norvis.
Oh, okay.
Is the pickup station by the cores actually empty now? Then?
Yes.
Okay, that means we'll be requesting iron and stone from Oliran and
okay.
Androgan, yes.
I'm seeing.
Yeah, Androgan. Yes. Yes, I agree. Foundry have done what Satisfactory didn't do. So yeah, as I was saying, because it was also hand built, it's very Satisfactory is very, very pretty. But it's a bit inflexible. There's only the one world. You can't adjust things. You can't adjust the scenery when it gets in the way, which is a little bit annoying. It's like permanent cliffs in Factorio, and yeah, it's completely immovable. You can't mine through it or anything like that. Foundry, I think, for anyone who isn't familiar with it, Foundry is basically Factorio in a Minecraft world, in that the whole world is made of cubes and you can go in and demolish whatever you like. I played a couple of streams of Foundry back when they had the demo available during the Steam Next Fest. That was probably somewhere around a year ago as well, and I really liked it. I was impressed with it, and I was looking forward to playing more once it's finished. So maybe that'll be the next one. So when I finish Satisfactory and then go back and finish XCOM 2 as well, because I still want to finish that off. Then maybe after that I'll take a look at Foundry, because I definitely want to play Foundry as well. I've played quite a lot of RimWorld, which is kind of Dwarf Fortress Light, although never on stream, so don't bother going to look for them, because I played it back before before I started streaming. I have also played a bit of Dwarf Fortress, and I got to the point where I scratched the surface a little bit. I'd build some sort of warrens of tunnels and things, allocate some of the areas to be various different types of rooms, but I struggle to really get any further into it than that, which is probably
there is a version with nicer
skill
graphics.
and sanity issue. I don't think it. Well, I think the graphics didn't help, but I don't think the graphics were the main problem.
There is a version with nicer graphics.
Yes, there is, but I don't think that was the problem.
Okay.
I mean, I think nicer graphics would probably help a bit, but I don't think...
Especially for streaming.
Oh, yeah, definitely for streaming, actually, yes. But I don't think that was what put me off it a bit. I think RimWorld, I played quite a bit of it, and I did enjoy it, but I eventually started to run into problems with the... it just felt I get a little bit annoyed with the pawns who were sort of not doing what I wanted them to do, even though in theory I got them set up to do what they should do. Like, they'd walk halfway across the map, chip out one piece of rock from a mine, and then walk all the way back across the map to go and get some food or something like that. And I got a bit sort of fed up with the lack of actual proper control I had over them. And I think I had similar sort of problems with Oxygen Not Included, which again I kind of enjoyed, but it didn't really grab me the way things like Factorio have. Yep, that's the right RimWorld, Doopy. That's the one. And Wes as well, yes.
So now you're playing Factorio multiplayer, so you have pawns that do what
don't
you
do
say.
as he says.
And if you look at the videos, you'll see that he complains when we don't do it.
Yeah, that seems fair. Yeah, but at least now they're sort of slightly more voice activated and can be disciplined when they misbehave. So. Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe a RimWorld with some heavy mods and DLC or something like that would be worth taking a look at. I'm certainly not against playing RimWorld, although I feel like I've seen it popping up a lot on my YouTube feeds with other people playing it. So I don't know whether that means it's popular and therefore I should jump on the bandwagon, or it's played out and therefore I shouldn't jump on the bandwagon. I don't know how big the RimWorld bandwagon is and whether it can take another person on it playing it, and whether I get a decent number of views from it. I'm not sure. Oh, so some quality of life mods to help with pawn management. Fair enough. I have not heard of either Songs of Six or Barrow Trauma, so no, I've not considered either of them because I've not heard of them. Although, given that Playnot says he's suggested it before, maybe I should have heard of it, but I don't remember. If I have heard of it, I don't remember what it was. So sorry.
Have you heard of Frostpunk?
Yes.
That
That's
one I have
currently
heard
on
of.
sale, summer sale for $2.99.
Oh, nice.
Okay, that's pretty cheap.
Ready to put in my attempt.
Okay, I'm already watching because I just sort of got distracted by talking and didn't go away to do other things. So, I am ready.
And Mike has sent me an updated set.
I suddenly realised where I went wrong.
Yeah, projection of 2D. Yeah, the 3D thing seems a little interesting.
So funny would be if this actually works now, right?
Does it match Tristan's idea?
This is Tristan's one.
Yes, this one is.
Oh.
So yours is different again, Mike.
Yes.
Mine is one symbol different from the last attempt that I had.
Okay. Have you been checking the distances you are away from the correct solution?
I have.
Are you getting closer?
Yes.
Good. Okay, well that's a good sign at least. I've heard of Captain of Industry, but I don't actually know anything about it. I've heard of the Anno games, but again, don't really know a great deal about them. The thing is, there's and until my channel gets big enough that I can start doing this full time, there's so many games out there, and only about 8 hours a week to play them in. So,
Well,
yeah.
Tristan's one is the closest yet.
Ooh. So yeah, it's a little tricky with having all these games that I would quite like to play, and about half of them are various different mods for Factorio. There's a lot that I would like to play, but there are only so many streaming hours in the week. Now, if my channel could magically become about what do I say? Is it 20 times bigger or 50 times bigger? I forget. But if it could become significantly bigger, that I could start doing this full time, then I would be quite happy to stream for, instead of 8 hours a week, I'm sure I could potentially manage even 8 hours a day, at least. Or maybe call it 35 hours a week and call it a full-time job, something like that.
That doesn't give you video editing time or anything like that.
It doesn't, that's true. But potentially potentially if it was streaming full time instead of making videos. I don't know. I don't know. But then if the channel was that big and that successful, then potentially I would be able to hire an editor who would be able to do some of that part.
Yeah, even the absolute top end, have made it in terms of can do it full time and make an absolute killing on it. Streamers don't stream that much.
Okay.
You get ones who stream most days a week. Thor is slightly different.
He's weird.
Yes,
he streams for like 16 hours a day or something stupid.
I mean, yeah,
12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
However, strictly speaking, what he's actually streaming is him doing his day job, as opposed to streaming being his day job.
Right.
So
in theory, he doesn't do
case.
much work. The bits I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, I don't actually watch his streams.
Right, whilst Tristan is programming this Stargate, I shall nip off for a quick loo break. I shall be back momentarily.
Yeah. What's interesting is I've got a little lookup table for basically if you're one off on each layer, what linear distance does that equate to, roughly?
We're clearly close to that boundary between for the second glyph because we're both. If mine is now the closest. Yeah. I'm looking for the fourth one. I can't find. I've gone all the way around and haven't found it.
The fourth one I sent you.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Oh, there it is.
You got it?
Just 2 clockwise from the one it needs to be in. Yep, that's right.
Mm-hmm. See forward one. Which one did you try? That and then that. Yeah, it's that second glyph, that boundary. We are absolutely, you're nuzzled right up against one side of it, I'm nuzzled right up against the other side of it. I could quite happily flip back the other side. I don't think that'd be right, but I could do it.
Right. So if Tristan's is the one that's been closest so far, that suggests that his is probably the one. Maybe the system we should be using here. But although actually, I guess if we pick out one of Mike's that was triangles that was wrong, that's quite a long way up, then it could quite easily flip across and become sooner, very much sooner.
Yeah, but basically Tristan and I are you were away when I was just saying this. Just either side.
Line.
Exactly, yeah. So it's the second glyph that you put in. He's just one side of it, I'm just the other. And
look at what's been programmed, shouldn't I? Let's bring that up.
In terms of linear distance,
not going to make it clear because
in terms of linear distance, I reckon it's 0.0001. No, sorry, 0.004. Yeah, that one, 0.04.
I think we're about to be ready.
Difference, like that's how close it is.
So I'm assuming that the 4 is the same for all of them. I'm assuming one of you is headless guy and the other one is H with a problem.
The 4 is the same. Yes, the second one.
It's.
Oh no, actually, there's some different ones down here as well.
After the first one that's different, they're obviously going to be different.
Yeah,
okay, I'm putting in the last one.
True.
And if you then look at the triangle, you can see that. Yeah, where's this? How it is.
It's taking a long time. No, that's fine.
Not it.
How far off's that one?
Was that one? That's my one, isn't it?
Yep.
Sorry. Apologies for that's mine, not Tristan's.
The hotkeys to change the GUI size are Control and plus and minus on the keypad, not plus and minus on the main part of the keyboard. Numpad, sorry, not keypad, yes.
It's going to take me a second to enter the numbers. No,
What's it doing? Oh, yes, looking at this and going, no quantum processors. What's going on here?
Further away again. That's the furthest away one that I've done so far. Okay.
That seems
not counting the one where I assumed that the triangle's a mirror rather than a rotate. That was way further out, but that's slightly different.
Yeah, different.
Okay. Right, so that's hugely in the wrong direction. Oh, where's me?
Oh, yeah, and remember to move the menu across as well on the like this on the main menu screens as well to see various other Easter eggs that get hidden underneath it. Oh, here's some more. The quantum processors are all being delivered to the science area, which is a bit of a waste because they're needed elsewhere for making other things. Although the idea is that it'll deliver them there until it's full, I suppose, like this, and then I'll have to go and try and find some more. Yeah, so we're going to try and fill these up with quantum processors, which means we need to have 1,000 in there, and we've currently got 888. So maybe the next train over won't lose all its quantum processors.
I'm now going through checking. So I've checked that X and Y work, and now going through and checking that Z is also in the middle.
Well,
because there's only I have to zoom in on the graph so far to be able to see where that they're actually in the triangle.
I won't spoil it for you, Sophia. You'll find out when you give it a try. Is it the GUI zoom size, or is it something else? I think it might be that. I don't remember for certain, but yeah, there is definitely there is another thing that finds you Easter eggs. Are these in sync still?
So what I'm doing now is I'm questioning whether I've got the fundamental maths right, as in have I coded it right?
I'm going to set this up properly,
or have I basically just misread the glyphs? Mind if I try programming one, Tristan?
Yeah, go for it. I'm doing maths.
Thank you.
Well, no, I'm
suffering maths.
Yeah. It's a trial, isn't it? It's not going to lie.
Yeah, it feels like it's all ending up being a bit more experimental than we were hoping it would be.
Yeah.
So I think that's possibly inevitable.
Yeah, I think
Sophia thinks we're going to get another stream, and given that it's 10:30, he's probably right.
Yeah, probably. I think that if Tristan and I basically both had a bit more time and just sort of sat down fresh and didn't have things like work to worry about, we could do a lot better. Both of us. Because we'd actually...
You'd have had a bit more time to think about it, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas at the moment it's... Well, we'd both write a program to do it rather than spreadsheeting, as I say.
Oh, yeah, okay. Probably help. Plus 0, output as a C. And then just wait for stuff to be delivered.
I found one where I can't see the point on it.
Ooh.
Which means it's right on the line.
Cable's gone?
And that's the penultimate one.
That penultimate one is a ball egg. And not in a good way.
Give me my setter.
That is inside.
Yes, they have gone on the floor, which is a bit weird, but I think I must have grabbed them from over here. Oh, I don't know. It did something weird anyway. Yeah, they've got out of sync again. I got them to within a couple of hundred of each other, and now they're 900 apart. I don't know why they're getting out of sync, but yeah, this will hopefully help a bit. So since it always seems to be the same way, I'll link that to there and tell that to run when memory card blank data cards, which is not in there, it's in here. Blank data cards is greater than the C signal. There we go, it's turned on now. So if I put it back to being pointing that way, That'll run until these are have the same amount in them, and then it'll stop. I don't have anything going the other way. I suppose I could put in another inserter down here and link it up and tell it to. And if I did that, I'd want to have a bit of a bit of hysteresis on the system as well, because otherwise it would just run all the time. We'd have to end up with them both running pretty much all the time, and that would be silly. So we won't do that. We'll just leave it with on the one way, because it did seem to always be that there were more in this one than in this one. Now I expect I'll now come back a bit later and discover it's gone completely out of sync the other way. But if so, I can just flip this round and swap over the condition in here, and it'll tidy it up again nicely for me.
All my Z values are within the triangles as well.
Sorry, say again?
All my Z. So I was plotting the X versus Y, and I've just gone through and checked all the Zs as well.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The target is within each of them, but it is right on the edge for the last two.
It's interesting. We seem to be getting through a lot of blank data cards now. I mean, yeah, there's quite a lot pouring through from the recycling, but we're using these so fast is interesting, because we've not had that very much before. Presumably we're filling up on this because we've been filling up on all the astroscience over here, and we've not been doing very much science. There's not been very many blank cards coming back out again.
I didn't think the very last one was that close. It's not. I mean, it's not a million miles different, but.
Oh, I've just realised Marc has been building more Fenestra ships. That's why there seems to always be a ship here.
Did you not hear? Maybe you were in the other chat when you were talking about it.
We've been in the other chat banging our heads against walls.
I've just noticed that the one here is the Fenestra 3.
Right. I think 3 is total.
Yep, 3 is total.
Okay.
Oh yes, that's
Thank
true.
you.
Yes, there's a load more. You're right. There's a load more insights on the belts here, and insights are fairly expensive. And there's a load more significant data along here as well. And and I think, and also the catching up with the astroscience production down here is going to pull in quite a few. Well, that's now done. We've filled that up again. But until we get those quantum processors again, we can't go any further with the science, which is a shame. That's a really frustrating bottleneck, because I've been talking about it for months, that I kind of want to go off and build a town that will just do this somewhere else, so it will have a bit more throughput and so on. But I don't think it'll help. A train bringing up. I mean, I'd have to put in another train to bring up the holmium cables, perhaps, and that I might as well just do to here. In fact, maybe that's the next thing I should be doing, putting in a second holmium cable train. But we've got some biters to kill first, so we'll
really
take a minute.
Oh, the enthusiasm there. Got some more biters to kill. Will they have solved it? No, we're killing it. Joke's on you, it's going to be unstable.
You're right, it wasn't stable. Well done, Mike. I'll give you that one.
Right, let's turn that off.
Yeah, true. You could use. Yeah, I could. What I could do is subtract one from the other. Well, I could subtract. I could put in another arithmetic combinator and subtract C from card, and then see if the output from that is less than minus murmur, put them one way, and if it's more than murmur, pass them the other way. That'd be the easiest way to do it. But let's do that. So we'll put that there, and we'll put that there, and then when it's been placed, I can come back around and do some wiring. In the meantime, over here, right? So it goes in here. So none of these stations are. I can't reuse one of. I can't reuse any. These stations probably all do things, so I can't reuse them. But I could put in another station up here. Come through about here somewhere. I need that really, absolutely, definitely put the thing there. I don't care. Feature from 2.0. Cut that. And is there ever going to be a bad gap in this one? Almost certainly not. I might have just cut it. anyway and accept that we're going to pick up some trash. And then pull out all of that. Oh wait, there's a pipe in the way. Ah! Okay, we'll move this pipe across. Don't do that. That's a problem I haven't seen for a little while. The game randomly rotating a belt on me. I guess I've just been doing things differently and it hasn't been so much of a problem. What am I holding? 7. No, you. Wait, no, 5. Give me 7.
Is it square root of the sum of the squares of the differences?
Yes. That gets you linear distance.
Yeah.
Wait, that pipe's still going to be in the way. Ah.
Oh, it's 0.002. Not close enough.
Yes. By my reckoning,
And this
you've
belt.
got the 4th glyph wrong.
Okay.
Comes up
And if you're 1 off on the 4th glyph.
Yes, but that's if you're an entire one off. I'm not.
Strictly speaking, it's the length of the base off.
Right.
Which isn't. I suppose it is. Is it centre to centre? No, it's.
It's because you still might have. You could have I could have an earlier one off because the third one is pretty close to an edge. So there's the second one.
And in fairness, we did when we looked at the data see that they're not actually quite perfect. They're close, but they're not quite perfect equilateral triangles. They are slightly isosceles. As someone in chat pointed out, which does just slightly complicate some of the calculations.
Is that a joining point? No. Good. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3. There we go. And what are you going to be? Oh, yeah, holmium cable weight. Typing is hard. Right. Yeah, another stream is looking somewhat likely. But hopefully we'll have hopefully we'll have worked out what we did wrong, and I'll have had a go at it as well, and I'll also have a chance to get things wrong. So. Oh yeah, dump belts. Thank you. That's a good point. There we go. That's nice and easy. Right, so that means now I can have a second holmium cable train, but it needs to go in. Well, I need to tell the holmium cable train when it comes up. I need to tell it to go in here. So I'll wait for that to turn up again, which will probably be. We've got some holmium cables coming through. I don't know whether that means it'll be soon or not. And that's not it. Yeah, tell that to go in there, and then set another train going and doing the same route as well. And that'll double the amount we have available up here, which will hopefully allow us to keep it running. And we shall see. We'll see how it goes. But as I say, waiting for the holmium cable train to come back up again, because it needs editing, and I want to copy paste it, and both of those are easier if it's up here. Come on. This is the problem. The holmium cable train doesn't come through often. Oh, it actually comes up the other elevator, doesn't it? So it's got to run half the length of the base in order to get over here, which is possibly also part of the problem, potentially. Yeah, let's see. We're down here. We're running out of those cables again. But
other than the last two, I feel that they're definitely clear of the edges.
I mean,
the last two are on the inside, but they're very close.
Harsh brute force version is to try the last one, just flip it to the other side of the edge and just see.
I mean, I don't know which edge it is.
part of me is sort of slightly glad that you're struggling with it, because if because that means I get another chance to actually have a look at it. However, I also know that I'm probably still not going to have time to have a look at it, so it's not going to do any good. But yeah, no, we're not. We can't properly brute force it because there's far too many options. But what we can the nearest to brute forcing that we can do is is trying things. Is going, okay, well that one's wrong, we'll try the pyramid we'll try the triangle next to it and see how that goes.
Okay,
Right,
Mike,
so
you're suggesting that my fourth one is wrong.
Nominally, but that might not be it.
Yeah. Is it worth doing my first 4, followed by all bottom left, also followed by all bottom right, also followed by all tops?
Go.
To get those 3 points and confirm that it is not within those. Possibly the same, but with 3 instead.
It would be better to work it out using the definite coordinates we've got for the. Actually, offense, we don't know for certain that the top level one is definitely correct. We're just confident it is.
Hello, Seelan. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Tristan and Mike try to do maths, and Laurence tries to get enough holmium cables into a factory.
As in the very first glyph.
Yeah.
I did the 3 corners for that.
Yeah, and we looked that up and we went through that one together.
Oh yes,
we
Marc
think
makes
that
the
was
EPS.
confident, but
From memory, I thought they were surrounding the target.
Ooh, got not a train jam, but train marmalade, if you will.
It's the first thing is right. What I mean is, rather than so that you remember what I did, where I did the let's just do that one all left, and it was off by a bit, and that was giving me problems. It meant one of my glyphs was wrong, higher order glyphs.
So bonus thing, given my last one was the closest, do we want to try the exact opposite of that?
Nope. I mean,
as in just check that we've inverted the target, because that seems sensible.
Where are these all coming from?
I think we can get closer.
Easy, Seelan. You leave the planet and you go off to another planet, or you go into space where there are no trees, and therefore you've won more magically. That's how you defeat the tree enemy.
0.002 feels close until you look at the length of one edge of one triangle. That's just the fourth glyph's depth. In fact, technically, it's more than twice the fourth glyph's depth.
Jeez, even the second train, we're still not getting it. Oh, okay. The second train has arrived, but even so, even with the second train, we're still not keeping this belt full.
So where are we going on with the fourth glyph?
Slide down on the ground. We're filling the trains up damn quickly down here, and we're emptying the station really quickly as well. Okay, that's not going to be enough. Is that enough for the next train? Yeah, okay, it's enough for the next train, but only just. Hopefully, we've got another couple of trains coming in over here with. Might need to do for this one what I did for the sulfur one, and have it come at some of the trains 2 at a time. Like that.
Oh, I've been stupid.
You can't just say that. And
Yeah, I can.
So yeah, we just assumed it. So. Yeah, the video where I explain all the attempts they tried at the calculations is going to be interesting. I think how well that goes is going to depend entirely on how much detail they put into their notes, and therefore how much I'm able to work out of what they were trying to do, why it went wrong, and what they would do if they tried it again differently.
Right, Tristan, send him a screenshot of our conversation in our DMs.
I'm not sure that's going to count. Do I want to load this train faster? Probably doesn't matter.
Right, where's the first glyph gone?
If I could have
In
that,
fairness,
that'd be
this
pretty
is
good.
also particularly aggravating, having to spin the whole wretched thing every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that it takes 10 minutes or whatever it is to test each attempt is a bit is a bit ridiculous.
I think it's a little close to 5, but yes, it's. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
It's a significant amount of time either way, which is
It's not trivial. Is the
But I suppose it's to try and encourage you to actually solve it rather than it's to discourage brute forcing of any at any level, I guess.
Yeah,
Mike,
yes, Mark.
do you remember that one of the rules for spaceships is to not request more than fits in one spaceship?
Yes.
Have you requested more than will fit in one spaceship? And as such,
Yes.
and due to that, have we now run out of iridium? Yes.
No, I know what you mean. You've got no evidence. No evidence.
Except that this spaceship is now going to have too much stuff put into it as well.
Yeah,
No
I
evidence.
did it.
If you need the shuriken, it's there.
Thank you. Is that the shuriken? That is the shuriken. Oh no, that
That is the worst shuriken I've ever seen.
There we go.
What would you call it then?
21.
What?
What? I've lost it.
It's moving. I can't point to it. There's a 2, and there's a 1.
I have too many other windows open. I can't see the stream at the moment.
Fair. More monitors. Need more monitors.
Where's
I've already got 3.
Apparently, you need more.
long arm?
Have the stream on your phone.
I could
I'm
get my
using
phone
a
or
second
something.
computer just to do this. All right.
I don't know what a long-armed H is.
It's like a H with long arms.
Some of them are really, really easy to give really
yes.
good names to. Some of them are not.
I need to see what this one is now.
It's in position 3.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I haven't known what to describe that one as.
Yeah, I can see
Two long
why.
arms.
It's an H with some funny business going on in the bottom left, but then so are several others.
Yeah, all of them are funny business. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it could almost be I could see how you could call that a tap. It's a bit on its side. It's a tap on its side, kind of, but yeah, almost.
Arundel, if you're watching, I'd appreciate like a little name for each of these that we can all officially agree on. Because some of them, like man getting cross and flipping table.
I mean, there is a space exploration wiki. You just make a page for that.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, when we first started this, Tristan and I both just went to the data files and looked up the numbers they're given it.
Yeah, that was definitely metagaming going on there and slightly cheating.
We only did that. Well,
Tristan made an entire
we had
triangle
it-
of glyphs out of that, which was definitely metagamey cheaty, because he knew what order they're going to be in, because they were in order.
No, I didn't
no,
make
no,
it from
no,
that.
they're not in order.
I discovered that
The
they were in
triangles are.
order from.
Maybe
together.
it was just discovered there were the number of glyphs there were from the metagaming. Then, or there was something you discovered from metagaming.
It gave us confirmation of a theory early on.
No, we discovered there are 64, I think.
64
Yeah.
glyphs.
The
but
total
only
number was
60 pyramids.
meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's some metagaming going on in there.
It's the 6064 was the
But that allowed us a spreadsheet with the actual symbols in rather than.
which was kind of the
Going.
point, yeah.
Rather than
I don't know.
screenshot and crop them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a train on its way over there? Yes. But what I want to have 2 trains on the way over. So if I come in here, I grab the...
Oh, where's the wretched thing? I've lost it. Where's it gone?
And that to there. Then we'll be requesting 2 trains, which doesn't help very much because this one is still on its way back to pickup. Might need another Holmium cable train. At which point we'll probably need more Holmium cables. Oh, and we'll need me to not press the wrong buttons. That's the hardest part. And over here, how are we keeping up with the Holmium cable production? Oh, still at 400 stacks actually. That's holding on pretty well, given that I'm pulling it away from there as fast as I possibly can. with 2 of these space trains. I think I need another holmium cable train because I think the 2 we've got isn't sufficient to keep up.
All the data is in game as well, because in chat you can do things like that. So it doesn't have the numbers on it, but the number of symbols there are. No, they're not, because the 61 to 64 are not quite at the end.
Okay.
And if I could have got them out with random names that weren't in order, then that would have been fine.
Here's the train. Right, you. Copy. Train supply is over here. Paste. Go holmium cable pickup. And there's plenty of room in the stacker over there for an extra train to be added in.
About to do the last one.
Oh, 1 second. I'm making another train so I don't get in trouble.
Sorry? Are you in time?
Train out of fuel on Norvis. What have you guys been doing while I've been
I'm ready.
watching?
I'll check that out.
Okay. Alright, here we go.
Mark's being very brave.
Mark's got so much confidence he's about to just jump into it as it falls.
Drum roll. Angrily launching a drone. Yes, okay. No. Biters.
No.
Unless maybe there are biters coming through from our home world. Because while we've been over in the last 250 hours, while we've been messing around over here, the biters have taken over. And now they're.
I mean, whilst it is technically possible,
no, we're also still trying to work closer. We've got the vectors positions to telling us that we're wrong. Are you deliberately not turning it off?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Not to really. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just burning through the matter. Yeah, perhaps that's why we left because the old planet has been taken over by biters, so we had to run off and try and find somewhere where the biters were a bit smaller.
0.01.
Yeah.
Is that good? I'm lost track a little bit.
It's better.
Mine was 0.002.
Yeah, it's better than all of my previous ones, but not as good as Tristan's one.
Okay.
But I have no idea how to improve mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the metagaming we're talking about, Visu, which we're trying, which I'm disapproving of a little bit, but only a little bit, I have to admit. Yes, there are lots of different names for constellations. Very true. We haven't disproved the theory of going in the opposite direction to the original vector yet, because we haven't managed to point the new vector in exactly the opposite direction of the original vector. So we haven't disproved that theory yet. So we don't want to try going the other way yet until we've proved or disproved that. The train is out of fuel and parked right next to a fueling stop. The hell? Let's put it to manual mode. There we go. Now it's being fueled. Is it just not idling in a station? No, it's waiting for 5 seconds of inactivity at. Oh, we're at cold. This is cold drop. It's not. It needs a 5 seconds of inactivity here. Yeah, the inactivity.
Over 2 seconds, but
2 is probably fine. You're right. Yeah. Also, you have to press the tick apparently.
That's definitely less than 4 seconds for the inserters to load it.
Oh, for goodness sake, it's going to be on 3 because I can't drag. I could have typed in the box, couldn't I? That would have been easier. Okay, Fizzy. Or Unfizzy even. Good night. See you next time.
We're low on vulcanite at the moment, by the way. Only just happened.
Oh. Okay. Let us investigate. So, Norbit. Oh, no, we're not.
What's happened?
We have 12,000 in the warehouse, and that's it. Oh, and another 11,000 there.
Oh, this warehouse was fairly empty. So,
is that the only one that's linked into the counter-metro? Oh, it's green cable counting it, isn't it? Is it?
Probably.
So I should probably link this other one in as well. Let's do that. There we go. It's linked in with red cables in order to send the numbers over to Agnea to get the right amount being delivered, but it's not linked into with the green cables to get the right amount being sent down to the graphometron. But I think a ship has recently arrived because there's a load of trash being unloaded here and being dealt with.
Yeah.
So yeah, we probably were actually short of it very briefly. Yes, the Sealand's more complex puzzle is definitely a question. Yes, and I'm sure there is a very, very logical reason behind it all, but I don't want to try and work out what it is because my brain returned to cheese, and I don't want to have a cheesy brain. It's a lot of meteor defense guns, but then it'd be really bad if anything got through here, so it's fair enough. A nice, healthy, solid belt of ammunition going up there to load them, just to make sure they never have any problems.
One, two, three, four. I can't count.
Use your fingers.
I have to take my shoes and socks off. And my trousers. It's counting to 11.
You can count to 1,024 on your fingers if you try hard enough.
If I'm simple enough to need to take my shoes and socks off to get past 10, I'm not doing 1025. I'm not doing binary.
There's another way as well, actually, isn't there? That's counting where you count on the knuckle or the joints of or the sections of the fingers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Also, there are toe socks and shoes, so you don't have to take them off.
It is 11.
It is. I think it may well be bedtime. We may have to call it surrender to the to the puzzle for another week.
At the point when I can't count 5 glyphs over, technically it's 5 pairs. You know that's gone wrong. Dear.
Yeah.
Technically, if you count your fingers in binary, isn't it 0 to 1023? Just thinking about it.
Yes, it would be.
Right.
But you also run into problems with some of the numbers when you can't lift those particular fingers up you can't lift that particular combination of fingers up very easily.
The ring finger and pinky are sort of fairly linked.
Oh yeah, I always do. Touching desk versus not touching desk kind of thing. For
that much I can manage.
So it's only minor adjustment.
The traditional one is you roll this finger underneath your hand, and then you literally can't lift the ring finger up. It's the other middle one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having just tried it because I was trying to... No, not ride. Up the opposite end. So spaceship has just arrived. No, spaceship just departed. Or has departed. Well, there is more vulcanite somewhere. Agnea 1. Yeah, Agnea 1 is on its way back out to Norvis now. So
the thing is that glyph is so far down the list that I'm not convinced it explains the error.
Right, so I think this is probably going to be a good time to end the stream before we all just slit our own throats in frustration. So yes, you guys are going to have to make some very, very detailed notes on everything you've been doing and thinking about, so that I can actually
just
talk
found
through
an error with the Holmian cable station setup, I think.
Oh dear.
Because the Holmian cable pickup station was set to... okay, it would have recovered, but
is this the one on the ground or the one in space?
Ground.
Okay.
Train or space trains?
Train.
Okay,
So
okay.
this one didn't move for a long time, and therefore the other train couldn't come here to pick up, and so this one couldn't leave for the other station. So it would have waited until the limit was 2, basically.
Right. Well, the limit goes. The limit for the new station I put in will go to 2 immediately. It is either 0 or 2. because there's easily capacity for two trains to go there. However, there is another. I think there might be another holmium cable drop station somewhere in the world. No, actually, yeah. So that one might cause problems.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
But there is an insatiable appetite for holmium cable over here, so this is going to keep the trains moving.
Yeah, I noticed because the secondary elevator had a tram jam.
Yeah,
So
I also noticed that.
Okay. Shouldn't it be doing math?
Right. No, there should probably be I should put in another waiting area for the a stacker for the holmium cable and the sulfur pickup areas. I mean, in theory, as long as there is a sufficient supply of holmium cable and sulfur on the ground, we'll never have a problem there. However, that's a big if.
It's less likely to block the elevator now because of the extra ones that I assume Marc has added.
Signals.
Yeah.
You added them last
Yep.
week, didn't you?
I added 1.
No.
Oh,
Marc
okay.
has added a bunch more.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, putting in a stacker down here would probably be a good idea. Maybe I should probably do that between trains. Yeah, there's probably one for the space bus. Yes. Last dialed space. There we go. There's the last few gate addresses, and their approximate locations. Well, no, their precise locations. I was going to say they're all reasonably close, but then I saw a couple of 0.7s and a bit further down, and 0.64s. But I guess that was sort of testing slightly further away things.
Do they have the corner
Yes.
thing or
Yes,
central thing?
some of them are sciencing rather than.
Oh, there's a 0.3 in there as well for science. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for science rather than a serious attempt. The trend, looking at it, is why is Vulcanite run out? Oh, it just arrived. There we go. Just looking at Kothar. The trend is very much we're getting closer, but it's in little steps. And it implies that both Tristan and I are off by 1 glyph. Given that there are 2 where it's really close to an edge, it looks like I've got one of them on the wrong side, but Tristan's got the other one on the wrong side. But if you flip over the side, then you've got to change all the others after it as well.
Yeah.
Might have to actually dig out a programming language and write a script.
I feel shouldn't have to, but
Yeah. It's, as I say, it's the criticism's possibly putting it a little strongly. It does feel like at this point, we know what we're doing. It's just trying to get the right data. At the point where we're just
Apparently,
struggling to...
I don't know. I mean, there's an argument that could be made saying you don't know what you're doing. That's why you're getting it wrong. But
Well, I mean...
or you haven't, or you rather that's slightly more harshly than I intended to phrase it. That you have an approximate idea of what you're doing, but you don't understand the system quite well enough to come up with the correct answer, which I think is a slightly nicer way of putting it. So you are to an extent attempting to brute force the answer, which is why the system is working against you.
Yeah, I mean, we could go away and write a computer program to solve it for us, but then it feels, when you're having to write a program to solve a puzzle in a game.
I know what you mean, yes.
It starts to feel like poor design.
it feels like you're just then also just going, okay, press a button. Oh, here's the answer. Okay, I'll put that in.
Yeah, I think
Which, yes, if you've designed the thing that generates the answer.
That was the step before pushing the button. It's a little bit like saying software should be free because it costs nothing to produce another copy of it.
Yeah, and in fairness, if there was ways you could get guaranteed good information out of the system, then again, you could do it with a spreadsheet and a bit of calculation. You go, fair enough.
I mean, we can't. We have.
I don't know what you mean by guaranteed good information. We have a load of information.
We have all the central points. Or
all the central faces.
We can't get corners, vertices.
Corners is the bit that would make the difference to me.
Right. Okay.
I have what I believe are the vertices, but they're not out of the game. They are calculated from stuff out of the game.
Yeah. So is it by sort of taking the point that's halfway between two centres if you believe the line to go straight through the vertex, that sort of thing.
5 or 6 rather than 2.
Right,
but
okay.
yes.
And then unitized.
Yeah. And I'm using the centers of the triangles for that rather than the closest in point of the triangles.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that matters.
It's certainly easier because you don't have to go and find all those points. The other one might be, I don't know, probably wouldn't be more accurate. I don't know.
In fairness, I could just sit here for long enough and it's essentially just do I want to know what that particular vertex at depth 2 is, so I'll do all 6 triangles around it and average all of those results.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what I meant.
Feels very grindy.
Yes. So
actually, once you're on the triangle of triangles, you only need to do 2 of them because they were direct opposites.
Oh yeah, yes, that's true.
So that makes it easier.
Yeah, we know we can test any. Yeah, we can test any combination. It's coming up with the combinations that we want to test. That's the tricky part. And it is possible that we've missed a clue that would make the whole thing a lot easier. It is certainly possible. We are mere mortals and can make mistakes. So yes, so it's certainly possible. However, it feels like we should have enough information to solve the puzzle. However, I'm also aware that feels are not necessarily reals.
And in fairness, it's really easy to just point it and say, "Oh, this is too hard," or "Oh, this doesn't."
It's too hard because we haven't managed to do it yet.
Yeah, or I think it's badly designed because it doesn't work the exact way that I think it ought to. That's very easy to do, and it's not fair in absolute fairness. So I'm trying to think and say, the constructive side of these sorts of criticisms is, what could you theoretically do differently? That's kind of one for the retrospective.
Yeah, and once we've solved it, I will go around and have a look on the Discord and the rest of the internet and find. I'm sure there are other people who've solved it and posted about it. So once we've done our solution, then I can go around and look at other people's and see if there's something obvious we've missed or something different that they've done differently that would allow a light bulb to come on.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing for us to do at this point is to go away, think about it a bit more over the next week, and come back and have another go at it next week. Especially as it's time to stop the stream now because it's 11:15. So I think this is going to be a good point to stop. I think we're all ready for bed and have run out of momentum. So I should say thank you everyone for watching. Hope it was at least as exciting for you as it was for us, and your brains are less turned to cheese than maybe Tristan's and Mike's are. So we will be back for what will again hopefully be the last stream next week. When we will, as has been hinted at, we will be doing a retrospective videos and perhaps stream/podcast/ something like that, where we're going to take any questions we get from you guys. So if there's anything you'd like to ask about any of the stuff we've been doing around the game, any of our thoughts about it, how we've done things, what we do differently, anything like that, leave some messages on the Discord for me. I am going to be making or on YouTube videos. I will be making a list of the questions to come up and then circulating them around the group of us, and then we'll sort of have a bit of a think about it and then come back and hopefully be able to give you some coherent answers. Whether they make sense or not is entirely up to you, but we'll see what we can come up with to justify why we've done things the way we've done them and how things have gone. So yes. Sophia wins because we get another stream, yes. So, as ever, thank you very much for watching. Please come back on Wednesday when I should be playing some Satisfactory, where I'm in a not entirely dissimilar position. I'm in sort of into the end game now, in that I've started building all of the things that need to be made in order to finish the game. They're just being made very, very slowly, to the point where it's probably going to take another 30 hours, or at least for one of them, and I don't even know how long for some of the others, for the game to actually finish at the rate it's going. So I should be going in and basically going in and pressing Control-C, Control-V, but unfortunately Satisfactory doesn't support that, so I'll be doing it a little bit more manually. So there'll be some building work going on, and probably some expanding of some of the resources, because I seem to be very short of copper and iron and steel, so I could do with a bit more of those coming in. So that's going to be lots of building work going on in the next stream of things I'm already loosely familiar with, so that should be good fun. And then at the weekend we'll have the usual catch-up videos, and maybe I'll even manage to get them out on Friday and Saturday, but no promises because my weeks are always quite busy. So, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you on Wednesday. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night, all. Have a good one.